My child, what I am about to say may surprise you, but I can no longer remain silent. There are moments when my voice waits patiently for the right season, and there are moments when love itself refuses to stay quiet. This is one of those moments. If your heart has been searching for an answer, if you have been asking me for a sign, if you have wondered whether I still see you in the middle of your confusion, then listen carefully. I have drawn you here for a reason, and I do not want you to miss what I have been preparing to speak into your life. You may have opened this expecting another message like so many others. Yet something caused you to pause. Something within your spirit recognized that this moment felt different. That gentle hesitation was not accidental. I have been calling to your heart in ways you could not always recognize, and today I am making my voice clearer because I know exactly where you stand. I have watched you carry burdens that no one else understands. I have seen you fight battles in silence while the people around you assumed everything was fine. I know about the prayers that ended in tears. I know about the hopes you almost buried because disappointment visited too many times. I know how many times you asked, Lord, are you still speaking to me? Beloved, I have heard every word, every sigh, every unspoken cry. My silence was never abandonment. It was never indifference. Even when you could not hear me, I was working in places your eyes could not reach. But now there is something I must tell you. I will not allow fear, doubt, or distraction to speak louder than my truth any longer. I will not let the lies you have believed about yourself continue without reminding you of who you are to me. That is why this message has found you today. This is not a coincidence woven together by chance. This moment has been carefully arranged because your heart is ready to receive what it could not fully carry before. If you leave now, you may continue searching for answers that I am ready to place before you. You may mistake my guidance for coincidence and my protection for ordinary circumstances. But if you remain, if you quiet the voices competing for your attention and listen with your spirit, you will begin to understand why certain doors closed, why certain delays remained, and why I never stopped holding you, even when you felt alone. My child, what I am about to reveal is not meant to fill you with fear. It is meant to replace uncertainty with confidence, heaviness with hope, and confusion with clarity. I have not come to shame you. I have come to remind you that my love is still reaching for you. My purpose is still unfolding, and my promises have not expired. So stay with me a little longer. Open your heart without reservation, because the words that follow are not simply another message, they are the reason I could no longer remain silent. My child, what I am about to say to you may unsettle you at first, because you have become so used to carrying your days in silence that you almost forgot what it feels like when I step into the middle of your thoughts and speak plainly. You have grown accustomed to interpreting my nearness as distance whenever I do not answer in the way you expected, and somewhere along the way, you started to believe that if I was quiet, it must mean I had nothing to say. But I need you to understand something very deeply right now. I have not come to you in this moment because I suddenly noticed you. I have always seen you. I have always known exactly where your heart has been, even when you yourself could not find the words for it. I am speaking now because there comes a point when love refuses to remain still. There comes a point when a father watches his child walk too close to the edge of fear, too close to the edge of exhaustion, too close to the edge of believing lies about themselves, and that father cannot stand by and say nothing. That is where I am with you now. This is not random, and it is not simply emotional timing. You may have opened this moment casually, thinking it was just another message, just another passing thing in the middle of your day. But I tell you the truth. I did not bring you here casually. I brought you here because your heart has been carrying more than your mouth has admitted. You have been trying to function while something inside you has been straining under the weight. You have been moving, speaking, showing up, smiling when needed, handling what had to be handled. But underneath all of that, there has been a pressure building in you that even you have struggled to name. I have watched you push through things that have drained you. I have watched you tell yourself that you are fine because you did not know what else to say. I have watched you look for relief in distractions, in productivity, in waiting, in convincing yourself that tomorrow will somehow feel lighter. And because I love you, I will not let you keep mistaking survival for peace. I will not let you call numbness strength. I will not let you keep assuming that because you can endure something, you were meant to carry it forever. That is why I am speaking with clarity now. That is why I am breaking through the noise around you. I am not trying to startle you for the sake of drama. I am not trying to make you afraid. I am not trying to force emotion out of you. I am doing what love does when the heart it cares for is wandering too far into silence. I am stepping in. I am interrupting. I am making myself unmistakably present because you need to hear me without confusion this time. You have been asking for something real, even if you did not say it in perfect words. You have been craving a moment where you could stop guessing whether I am near. You have been longing for something that reaches deeper than inspiration, deeper than routine comfort, deeper than another passing feeling that fades as soon as the day gets loud again. That longing in you was not weakness. That ache was not failure. That was your spirit reaching for me even while your mind was tired. And because I heard that reaching, because I know how close you have been to sinking into discouragement without even fully realizing it, I am speaking now in a way you cannot easily dismiss. This might shock you because you expected me to stay quiet longer. You expected me to let you keep moving, as you were. You expected me to maybe wait until things got worse, or until you finally had the perfect prayer, or until you became more ready, more focused, more spiritual, more certain. But my child, I am not waiting for your polished moment. I am speaking in the middle of your real one. I am speaking while you are still tired. I am speaking while questions are still unresolved. I am speaking while your heart is still carrying contradictions you do not know how to sort out. I am speaking because I would rather meet you in the middle of your mess than watch you keep mistaking my patience for absence. Hear me clearly. I cannot stay silent while you keep calling yourself forgotten. I cannot stay silent while you keep treating your pain like it has become your identity. I cannot stay silent while you keep adapting to burdens I never designed for you to wear. I cannot stay silent while you keep asking in the hidden places of your heart whether I still care. I do care. I care more than you understand. And the reason this moment feels weighty to you, the reason something in you knows this is not like all the other moments you scroll past, is because your spirit recognizes my voice even when your thoughts are still catching up. So do not rush away from this. Stay with me here. Let this first moment be what it is meant to be. Not a performance, not a spectacle, not an empty surge of emotion, but the beginning of a real conversation between you and me, where I finally say what your heart has needed to hear, and where you stop pretending that silence has been safer than truth. I want you to let that settle inside you now, because if you misunderstand this opening, you will misunderstand everything that comes after it. You may hear urgency in my voice and assume I am disappointed in you. You may feel the intensity of this moment and wonder whether I am upset, whether you have failed too deeply, whether I am arriving now only because you have gone too far. But that is not what this is. I need you to know that what is moving through these words is not rejection. It is not frustration. It is not the cold distance of judgment. It is the nearness of a father who hath been watching his child drift under the weight of things they were never meant to normalize. You have normalized too much, my child. You have gotten used to carrying inner heaviness as if it is just part of adulthood, part of responsibility, part of being strong, part of surviving this season. You have gotten so practiced at enduring that sometimes you do not even notice when your soul is tired until the quiet catches up with you. And when it does, you often do what so many of my children do. You push the feeling aside. You distract yourself. You tell yourself you will deal with it later. You keep going because stopping feels unfamiliar, and because part of you is afraid of what might surface if you finally become still. I know that about you. I know how often you have stayed busy because the silence inside you felt too loud. I know how often you have tried to be dependable for everyone else while privately wondering who is holding you together. I know the little ways your heart has been asking for help, not always with dramatic words, but in those moments when you suddenly feel heavier than the moment deserves, when you lose motivation and cannot explain why, when you feel emotionally distant from things you know matter, when you find yourself staring into space and thinking, something in me is off. But I don't know how to name it. I know all of it. And because I know all of it, I also know that if I simply whispered again the way I have before, you might miss me. Not because you do not love me, but because you have been stretched thin. Because your mind has been crowded. Because your emotions have been tired. Because the world around you has trained you to move fast, absorb noise, and keep scrolling even when your soul is begging for stillness. So I'm not whispering this time. I am speaking in a way that meets the level of what you are facing. That is why this feels stronger. That is why it feels direct. That is why it may shock you. Love knows when gentleness must become clarity. Love knows when comfort alone is no longer enough and truth must step forward. And I am telling you now that your current state is not something I am willing to let become permanent. You were not made to live emotionally guarded, spiritually half awake, mentally overloaded, and quietly aching while calling it normal. You were not made to settle into patterns that slowly starve your joy and call it maturity. You were not made to keep functioning on the outside while drinking on the inside. I made you for more than maintenance. I made you for closeness with me, for peace that is real, for clarity that reaches deeper than circumstance, for life that is not built on pretending you are okay while hoping no one notices you are worn down. That is why I have stepped into this moment the way I have. I am not here to rush you into some dramatic response. I am not here to demand a perfect emotional breakthrough. I am here to get your attention and love so that you stop walking past the places in your heart that need me. I am here because you have been asking for answers in ways you barely realized. Sometimes it was in prayer. Sometimes it was in exhaustion. Sometimes it was in tears you did not expect. Sometimes it was in the simple thought, I can't keep doing this the same way. I heard that. I hear the words you speak, but I also hear the ones that never leave your mouth. And right now, before I say anything else to you, I want you to receive this one truth without arguing with it, without shrinking back from it, and without trying to explain it away. I am speaking because you matter to me too much for me to let you keep fading quietly. I am speaking because you are mine. I am speaking because your heart is not invisible to me. I am speaking because I have not abandoned the places in you that feel fragile. I am speaking because what is ahead for you requires you to hear me clearly, not vaguely. I am speaking because there are things I need to untangle in you before you can walk forward in peace. And I am speaking because if I left you alone in this silence any longer, you might mistake your weariness for the final truth about your life. It is not the final truth. It is not your ending. It is not your identity. It is not the whole story. So stay with me, my child. Let this be the moment where you stop bracing yourself and start listening. Let this be the moment where you stop assuming that because I waited, I was gone. I was never gone. I was watching, loving, preparing, and now, because I cannot stay silent any longer, I am finally speaking into the place where you need me most. My child, Now that you can see more clearly that I have been speaking all along, I need you to understand why I have come to you with this kind of weight, this kind of directness, this kind of holy interruption that feels impossible to ignore. I did not arrive like this because I suddenly became impatient with you. I did not choose this tone because I am angry. I did not step into this moment more forcefully because I wanted to frighten you or overwhelm you. I refuse to stay quiet this time because love knows when a whisper is no longer enough. There are moments in your life when tenderness must still be tender, but it also must become unmistakably clear. That is where you are right now. You have been standing closer to a threshold than you realize. You have been living in a stretch of time where small choices have been carrying heavier consequences than they appear to on the surface. You have been brushing up against turning points, spiritual ones, emotional ones, relational ones, internal ones, and if I kept speaking only in the softest ways, there is a real chance you would have continued drifting past what I was trying to place in your hands. That is why I stepped in the way I did. I know you. I know your habits. I know how easily you can talk yourself out of what you already sense. I know how quickly you can delay a needed response by calling it discernment when it is really avoidance. I know how often you say, "I'll deal with it later," and then wonder why later becomes heavier. I know how you can feel my nudge and then negotiate with it until the urgency fades. So I did not come this time merely to nudge. I came to interrupt. I came to stop you in your tracks long enough for truth to catch up with the pace you have been running. I came because there are things pressing against your life that you cannot afford to keep normalizing. I came because the distance between what you know and how you are living has been widening. I came because you have been adapting to burdens, thought patterns, emotional habits, and quiet compromises that are beginning to shape your future if left unchallenged. And I love you too much to watch that happen without stepping in more clearly. Picture a father seeing his child walking toward a road while distracted, headphones on, mind elsewhere, not because the child is rebellious, but because the child is unaware. That father does not remain politely soft if the moment requires more. He raises his voice because danger is near enough that gentleness alone may not reach in time. The raised voice is not rejection, it is protection. It is urgency born from care. That is what this is. That is why I refuse to stay quiet this time. You are not being scolded. You are being protected. You are not being shamed. You are being awakened. You are not being pushed away. You are being called closer before something steals more from you than it should. So stop hearing intensity as anger. Stop interpreting clarity as condemnation. Receive what this really is. Rescue. Receive what this really is. A father stepping in because the timing matters. Receive what this really is. Love refusing to watch you drift any farther into something that is costing you more peace, more joy, more alignment, more trust, and more spiritual sensitivity than you have fully admitted. Stay with me. Do not recoil from the seriousness of this moment. Let it do its work. Let it sober you in the best way. Let it pull you out of the fog. I am not trying to control you through fear. I am trying to wig you through truth. And the truth is simple. If I had remained quiet in the same way I have before, you might have kept postponing the very response that will begin to free you. There is something else I want you to see, because the urgency of my voice is connected not only to what I am protecting you from, but also to what I am trying to lead you into. You keep assuming that my interruptions are only about danger, only about correction, only about what must stop. But sometimes I speak more clearly because blessing is near, and you are not positioned to receive it well if you stay the way you are. That matters. Hear that carefully. There are doors that do not need your striving, but they do require your alignment. There are answers I have prepared that cannot be carried by the version of you that is still clinging to old patterns. There are moments of peace I want to give you that will feel foreign if you are still addicted to inner chaos. There are relationships I want to deepen, assignments I want to trust you with, clarity I want to release, strength I want to restore, and new ground I want you to walk on. But if you remain emotionally guarded, spiritually distracted, mentally overrun, or habitually delayed in your obedience, you will not know how to stand inside what I am opening. That is why I am speaking now. I am not only trying to pull you out of something, I am trying to prepare you for something. Think of it like this. If a room in your house is being renovated for something beautiful, the process often becomes inconvenient before it becomes lovely. Furniture gets moved. Dust gets exposed. Things are stripped back. Some pieces that looked fine have to be removed because they cannot support what is being built. That part can feel disruptive if you do not understand what is happening. But the disruption is not the point. The preparation is. That is what hath been happening in parts of your life, and that is why I would not stay silent. I know you have been asking why certain things feel unsettled, why some comforts no longer satisfy, why some patterns feel emptier, why some relationships feel strained, why some inner conflicts keep surfacing. Part of the answer is that I am not letting you stay comfortably attached to what cannot follow you into what I have next. It may feel shocking, but it is mercy. It may feel uncomfortable, but it is kindness. It may feel like I am disturbing your familiar ground, but I am doing it because familiar is not always faithful. Familiar can become a cage if you let it. Familiar can become a counterfeit safety that slowly drains your life while convincing you it is stable. So I have been shaking certain things, not to punish you, but to loosen your grip. I have been exposing certain patterns, not to embarrass you, but to free you. I have been making some places feel less comfortable, not because I want you unsettled forever, but because I refuse to let you settle in places that are starving your soul. That is why I refuse to stay quiet this time. I could see what was coming, both the risk and the opportunity. I could see what you were close to missing. I could see how easily you might have misread the season and either retreated in fear or remained stuck in false comfort. So I stepped in with stronger clarity. I needed you awake. I needed you attentive. I needed you honest. I needed you to stop mistaking inconvenience for abandonment and start asking me what I am preparing you for. So ask me now. Ask me sincerely. Say, what are you making room for in me? Sit with that question. Let it open something. Let it humble you. Let it pull you closer. I will answer in ways you can recognize if you stay near enough. But you must stop resisting the disruption every time it touches something you wanted to keep. Some things feel threatened right now because they were never meant to remain in charge of you. Some habits feel exposed because they have been quietly leading you. Some comforts feel unstable because they were never strong enough to carry the future I am preparing. So let me do what I am doing. Do not fight me at the threshold. Do not cling to what I am trying to loosen. Open your hands. Trust me in the disruption. Trust me in the directness. Trust me in the interruption. My refusal to stay silent is not a sign that I am far from you. It is proof that I am deeply invested in what becomes of you. And because I want this to become practical, not just emotional, I need to tell you what I am asking from you in response. I am not asking for panic. I am not asking for drama. I am not asking for a frantic attempt to fix everything at once. I am asking for willingness. I am asking for surrender. I am asking for your honest yes. Start there. Do not overcomplicate it. Give me your yes before you understand every detail. Give me your yes before you feel fully ready. Give me your yes before your emotions are perfectly settled. If you wait until you feel no resistance, you may wait longer than you need to. The breakthrough often begins in willingness, not in comfort. So say yes to the truth I am bringing. Say yes to the thing I have been pressing on. Say yes to putting down what needs to be put down. Say yes to facing what you have delayed. Say yes to opening the room in your heart that you keep keeping off limits. Say yes to making space for quieter time with me. Say yes to closing doors that keep letting confusion in. Say yes to letting me change your pace. Say yes to the conversation you need to have, the habit you need to confront, the grief you need to acknowledge, the burden you need to release, the pattern you need to stop calling normal. I am not asking for perfection in how you do it. I am asking for movement. Take one step, and take the next. Let obedience become simple again. Let it become relational again. Let it stop being this giant abstract pressure in your mind and become the next honest response in front of you. And as you do, watch what happens. Watch how quickly clarity begins to return when you stop arguing with what you already know. Watch how peace begins to move in when you stop protecting the thing that has been draining you. Watch how my voice becomes easier to recognize when you stop negotiating with every nudge. Watch how your inner world starts to settle when you stop feeding the patterns that keep you in fog. I am not asking you to become someone else overnight. I am calling you back to yourself in me. I am calling you back to alignment, back to trust, back to the version of you that is not constantly bracing, not constantly bargaining, not constantly exhausted from carrying what was never assigned to you. So come now. Respond now. Stay close now. Do not leave this as inspiration only. Do not let this become a moment you admired and then ignored. Let it become a turning point. Let it become action. Let it become surrender with movement attached. I refuse to stay quiet because the hour called for clarity. And now that clarity has reached you, do not waste it. Receive it. Answer it. Walk with it. Because what comes next is not only about the threshold you are near, but about how close you truly are to a turning point you still do not fully see. And I am ready to take you there. My child, now that you are beginning to see how close you are to a turning point, I need to uncover something that has been quietly operating in the background of your life, because if I leave it unnamed, you may keep treating a spiritual battle like a personality flaw, and that would keep you stuck in a cycle I am trying to break. The confusion that has surrounded you has not all been random. The fog you have felt has not all been simple fatigue. The disorientation, the emotional static, the strange heaviness that seems to rise at certain moments, the way clarity sometimes slips away just when you are about to make a healthier choice, the way old thoughts come back right when you are ready to move forward, the way distractions multiply when your heart is finally soft enough to hear me. These things have not all been harmless coincidence. There has been an enemy who has benefited from your confusion. I want you to hear that carefully. I am not saying every difficult feeling is a demon. I am not asking you to become dramatic, fearful, or suspicious of every ordinary struggle. I am asking you to become spiritually awake. I am asking you to stop underestimating how much confusion can cost you when it goes unchallenged. The enemy does not always need to destroy you outright if he can keep you misreading what is happening. He does not always need to convince you to reject me if he can simply keep you distracted enough to delay obedience. He does not always need to make you run in open rebellion if he can persuade you to remain in quiet hesitation. He understands something many of my children forget. Confusion slows momentum. Avian weakens courage. Confusion clouds discernment. Confusion turns simple next steps into exhausting internal debates. Confusion makes the familiar feel safer than the obedient. Confusion can keep a person standing in front of an open door while convincing them it is wiser to wait outside. That is why it has been such a useful weapon against you. Think back on your own life. How many times did you sense what needed to happen, but then your mind became crowded? How many times did you feel the nudge to change something, say something, stop something, release something, trust me in something, but then the fog rolled in? Suddenly you felt unsure. Suddenly everything felt complicated. Suddenly fear started sounding like wisdom. Suddenly delay felt spiritual. Suddenly your old coping habits seemed easier than the step I was inviting you to take. That pattern has repeated more than once, and it is time for you to stop treating it as if it is just how you are. It is not your identity. It is not the deepest truth about your personality. It is not a permanent feature of your life. Some of what you have normalized has been warfare. Some of what you have excused as overthinking has been interference. Some of what you have accepted as emotional inconsistency has been the enemy exploiting places where your heart was already tender, tired, or wounded. That is why I am exposing it now. I am not exposing it so you become afraid of the dark. I am exposing it so you stop letting it define the room. Turn on the light. Let me show you what has been happening. Do not shrink from this. Do not dismiss it. Stay present. Stay honest. Ask me to reveal where confusion has been stealing from you. Ask me where you have mistaken spiritual interference for personal failure. Ask me where you have been fighting yourself when the real battle was over your clarity. I will show you, and what I reveal will not crush you. It will free you. It will help you stop blaming yourself for every moment of fog and begin learning how to respond with discernment instead of shame. It matters, because shame keeps you passive, but discernment makes you watchful. And I am calling you into watchfulness now. I want to show you how this has worked, because once you see the pattern, you will start noticing it faster, and that will weaken its hold. There were times when you came close to making a brave decision, and suddenly the emotional cost felt 10 times heavier than it had the day before. There were moments when you were ready to be honest, and then fear began whispering consequences into your imagination until silence felt safer. There were stretches when you wanted to return to deeper prayer, and then your mind became restless, distracted, sleepy, or strangely resistant the moment you tried to become still. There were times when you knew a relationship, a habit, a pattern, a thought loop, or an environment was draining you, and yet when it came time to step back, confusion made you question what you already knew. You started bargaining. You started second-guessing. You started gathering reasons to postpone the very thing your spirit had already identified. That is not just indecision. That is a battlefield. And I need you to stop showing up to that battlefield without armor. You have been too casual with your inner life in some places, not because you do not care, but because you did not realize how strategic the enemy can be when your soul is tired. He studies your weak places. He notices what drains you. He watches where you are already carrying unresolved pain, and he often amplifies confusion right there because he knows an exhausted mind is easier to steer. If you are already wearied, he adds pressure. If you are already wounded, he adds accusation. If you are already disappointed, he adds hopelessness. If you are already unsure, he adds noise. He does not always invent something new. Often he intensifies what is already tender. That is why you must stop underestimating the importance of tending your heart. That is why you must stop treating peace like a luxury and clarity like a bonus. These are not optional comforts. They are part of how you stay steady in the season you are in. So listen to me now and take action. Tighten the gates around your mind. Be more careful about what you entertain. Be slower to agree with thoughts that leave you smaller, weaker, more ashamed, more passive, more distant from me. Not every thought deserves a seat at your table. Not every feeling deserves the final word. Not every fear deserves to be treated like prophecy. Learn to pause. Learn to ask, what is this producing in me? If a thought leads you toward paralysis, self-accusation, numbness, despair, false urgency, or avoidance of me, do not immediately treat it as truth just because it feels intense. Bring it into my presence. Hold it up to my character. Ask whether it sounds like the voice that calls you closer, steadies you, corrects you with hope, and invites you into light. If it does not, do not keep nursing it. Challenge it. Reject it. Replace it. Speak truth over it if you must. Get quiet and let me cut through it. Open the scriptures. Breathe slowly. Step away from the noise. Interrupt the spiral before it builds. Call on me directly. Say, Lord, this is not from you. Show me what is true. You that more often. Do not wait until the fog has become a full storm. Catch it earlier. That is how you begin to reclaim territory. That is how you stop being dragged around by every inner shift. That is how you learn to stay anchored even when the pressure rises. And yes, my child, I know this takes practice. I know you will not do it perfectly overnight. But do not use imperfection as an excuse to stay passive. Start where you are. Start today. Start with the next thought, the next trigger, the next moment you feel that familiar wave of confusion. See it differently. Meet it with awareness. Meet it with me. And now let me tell you something that I need to settle deep in your spirit, because this is where many of my children lose heart. The enemy benefited from your confusion, yes, but that does not mean he owns your future. He exploited the fog, yes, but that does not mean the fog gets the final word. He used your hesitation, your wounds, your weariness, your overthinking, and your unhealed places as openings, yes, but he does not get to keep them if you bring them fully into my light. That is where his advantage ends. The moment you become aware, the moment you stop agreeing with what has been weakening you, the moment you stop calling confusion just how I am, the moment you begin responding instead of absorbing, the ground begins to shift. His leverage weakens. Your clarity starts returning. Your authority starts waking up. Your spiritual reflexes begin to sharpen. That is what I am doing in you right now. I am not merely informing you about an enemy. I am restoring your ability to recognize the battle and stand differently inside it. So stand. Do not collapse into fear just because I have named the strategy. Let this make you steadier, not more anxious. Let this make you more sober, not more suspicious. Let this make you more dependent on me, not more obsessed with darkness. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your heart near me. Keep your life open to my correction and my comfort. Then watch how much changes. Watch how the thoughts that once ruled you begin to lose authority when you stop feeding them agreement. Watch how confusion begins to thin when you stop treating every internal disturbance as if it must be obeyed. Watch how quickly peace starts to return when you become more protective of what enters your spirit. Watch how the very places that once made you feel weak begin to become places of discernment because what once trapped you is now something you can recognize earlier. That is redemption, my child. That is what I do. I do not merely pull you out of battles. I teach you through them so you are not as easily overtaken the next time the enemy tries the same old tactic. So hear me and respond. Guard your mind. Guard your pace. Guard your atmosphere. Guard your agreements. Stay close to me in the moments when you are most tempted to isolate. Do not disappear when the fog rises. Come nearer. Do not delay when the confusion starts whispering. Ask me sooner. Do not let shame tell you that because you are struggling, you should hide from me. That is exactly when you need to come closest. Open your mouth. Pray even if the words are simple. Tell me the truth. Invite me in. Let my light enter the exact place where the confusion has been building. I will not turn away. I will not tire of helping you. I will not scold you for needing me. I am your refuge in the battle, not your critic in it. And now that you are beginning to see how the enemy has benefited from your confusion, you are ready for the next layer of truth. There were moments you called coincidence that were actually me trying to get your attention. I want to take you there next, because once you see that clearly, you will stop dismissing some of the holiest interruptions I have ever placed in your path. My child, now that I have opened your eyes to the confusion that once clouded your path, do not let clarity stop with you. Let it become light for others still wandering in the fog. What I am pouring into you is not meant to be contained, but sown like seed into hearts that are still waiting for truth to break through. When you give, you become part of that harvest, like oil poured into lamps that refuse to go out in the darkness. I am saying to you even now, give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And this is not distant scripture. This is my voice to you in this moment. If your heart has been stirred, that stirring is my invitation. Do not ignore it. Through your super thanks, your membership, or your offering through the PayPal link in the description, you help carry my word into places your feet may never walk. This is not just support. It is participation in deliverance, in awakening, in freedom. So step into this moment of obedience and give now, and watch how I multiply what you place in my hands. My child, now that I have shown you how confusion has been working against you, I want to uncover something even more intimate, because this next truth is going to touch the places where you have replayed your past and still wondered whether I was truly involved. There have been moments in your life that you filed away under the word coincidence simply because you did not know what else to call them. You used that word because it felt safer than admitting I was close. You used that word because if it was only coincidence, then you did not have to face what it meant. You did not have to ask why your heart reacted the way it did. You did not have to wrestle with the possibility that I was actually reaching for you in ways that felt deeply personal. But I am telling you now with tenderness and with certainty, not everything you brushed off was random. Not everything that interrupted you was accidental. Not every delay, every redirection, every strange pause, every inner check, every door that closed right when you wanted it open, every sudden memory, every uneasy feeling that would not leave you, every moment that made you stop and wonder for a second before you talked yourself out of it. Those things were not always coincidence. Many of them were me. I need you to let that sink in. Sit with it. Breathe and let the truth land where it needs to land. I know that this may stir something in you, because once you realize how often I was near, you may begin remembering moments differently. You may begin seeing scenes from your life in a new light. You may think of the time when everything suddenly slowed down and you were frustrated, but now you can see it may have been my mercy keeping you from moving too fast. You may think of the relationship that felt so right in the moment but kept carrying a strange heaviness you could never explain, and now you can see I was warning you before your mind had enough evidence. You may think of the day your plans fell apart and you felt disappointed, but later you saw what would have happened if they had succeeded exactly the way you wanted. You may think of the message, the conversation, the scripture, the unexpected sentence from someone who did not even realize what they were saying, the sudden urge to stop, the inability to feel peace about something everyone else said was fine. Those were not meaningless details floating around your life. Those were fingerprints. Those were touches. Those were the quiet ways I moved when you were still learning how to notice me. And I need you to stop belittling them by calling them small. Some of the most sacred moments in your life did not arrive with thunder. They arrived like a nudge, like a pause, like a strange unease, like a moment you could not fully explain, like an interruption that made no sense until much later. That is how I often work with hearts that are still learning to trust me. I do not always force my way into the center of your attention. I draw near. I invite. I press gently. I create moments that ask for your attention instead of demanding it. That is what so many of those coincidences were. They were invitations. They were my hand on the doorknob of your heart. They were me saying, slow down. Look again. Stay here. Don't ignore this. I'm trying to show you something. And I know there were times you kept moving anyway. I know there were times you talked yourself out of what you sensed. I know there were moments when fear, pride, impatience, or simple exhaustion made you dismiss what your spirit noticed first. But do not let that realization turn into shame. Let it become clarity. Let it become awe. Let it become gratitude that I kept reaching for you even when you did not yet know how to respond. I was patient with you. I am still patient with you. I was not offended that you misread the moment. I was present in it. I was working in it. I was weaving even your hesitation into the story I am still telling over your life. So stop looking at your past as if it is only a record of what you missed. Look again. Look with me this time. Look for my mercy hidden in the interruptions. Look for my protection in the detours. Look for my kindness in the discomforts you resented. Look for my voice in the places that seem too ordinary to be holy. And once you start seeing me there, you will begin to trust that I am much closer in your present than you have been giving me credit for. I want to take you deeper into this, because the enemy has been content to let you label my movements as coincidence, and I want to break that pattern in you. When you reduce my nearness to chance, you train your heart to miss wonder. When you explain away every holy interruption as random timing, you weaken your sensitivity to the ways I am actually guiding you. And when you do that long enough, you start living as if I only move in the rare dramatic moments, while missing the steady stream of personal touches I have been placing all through your life. That is why I am slowing you down here. I want you to recover your memory. I want you to remember with me. Go back in your mind right now. Think about the moments when something in you said, pay attention, but you did not fully know why. Think about the times you almost made a decision, and then something felt off in a way you could not articulate. Think about the times you were certain you wanted something, but the path toward it kept becoming strangely complicated, not because I was teasing you, but because I was protecting you from a future version of pain you could not yet see. Think about the times you lost access to what you thought you needed, only to later discover that what you lost would have quietly drained your peace if it had remained. Think about the moments when a sentence reached you at the exact time you needed it, and you felt something in your chest shift, but then you moved on too quickly to honor it. Think about the times your body got tired in ways that were not just physical, because I was trying to slow your pace enough for your soul to catch up. Think about the recurring discomfort around a certain habit, a certain place, a certain connection, a certain thought pattern that you kept trying to normalize. Why did it keep surfacing? Why did it keep pressing on you? Why did peace keep leaving when you returned to it? Because I was there, trying to teach you the difference between what comforts you and what quietly consumes you. That was me. You need to hear this with all the tenderness in my heart. I have been more involved in your life than you realize. I have been in the details you thought were too small to matter. I have been in the timings that seemed strange. I have been in the redirections that frustrated you. I have been in the quiet discontent that kept you from settling in places where your spirit would have withered. I have been in the longing that made you restless when everyone else seemed content with less. I have been in the holy dissatisfaction that kept you from fully belonging to the numbness you were trying to return to. And because I have been there, I want you to start responding differently now. Do not just notice and move on. Pause. Honor the nudge. Sit with the unease. Bring the moment to me. Ask, is this you? Ask it sincerely. Ask it before you explain it away. Ask it before you let logic flatten the tenderness of discernment. Ask it before you let impatience override what your spirit is sensing. You do not need to become superstitious. I am not asking you to see signs in every shadow. I am asking you to become relationally aware. I am asking you to stop living like your life is a random sequence of disconnected moments and start living like you belong to a Father who is actively involved, intimately aware, and willing to speak in ways that fit your real life. That shift matters. It changes how you pray. It changes how you pause. It changes how you interpret resistance. It changes how you handle discomfort. It changes how you move through ordinary days. Once you stop dismissing my fingerprints, you will begin to feel less alone in the details. You will begin to see that I have not only been waiting for your big moments, I have been walking with you in the small ones, guiding you in quiet ways, ranging encounters, preserving you from things you did not know to fear, and placing invitations before you that were far more sacred than they appeared at first glance. And now, my child, I want you to let this truth become personal in the present, not just reflective about the past. Because this moment you are in right now, this very one, with these words reaching into you, with your heart pausing, with your attention held in a way you did not expect, is one of those moments too. Do not do with this what you have done with so many other holy interruptions. Do not feel it and then file it away. Do not sense my nearness and then reduce it to emotional timing. Do not say later, that was intense, and move on unchanged. Remain here with me. Honor what is happening. Recognize it. Say it plainly if you need to. This is not coincidence. This is you. Let that confession soften the resistance in you. Let it dismantle the instinct to intellectualize what your spirit already knows. I am not asking you to become someone who chases signs. I am asking you to become someone who stops ignoring the hand that has been guiding you all along. And because I love you, I want to say this clearly. Some of the things you have been calling coincidence were not only moments of comfort or warning. Some of them were confrontations. Some of them were my attempts to bring you face to face with what you already knew but were avoiding. I have been patient with you there too. I have brought certain truths back around more than once. I have allowed certain themes to repeat in your life, not to annoy you, not to trap you, but because there are things I refuse to let you bury forever. You have noticed patterns. You have felt recurring conviction. You have had repeated moments where the same truth keeps finding you from different directions. That is not random. That is me refusing to let your destiny be shaped by the thing you keep refusing to face. So do not just marvel at my nearness. Respond to it. Receive it. Then follow it. Ask me right now, what have I been calling coincidence that was actually you? Sit in that question. Let memories rise. Let discomfort rise if it needs to. Let recognition come. And once it does, do not defend yourself. Do not minimize it. Do not make excuses. Bring it into the light. Tell me I see it now. That simple honesty will open more than you know. It will restore trust. It will sharpen discernment. It will deepen your intimacy with me. It will teach you that your life is not a collection of accidents, but a story held by hands that have never stopped reaching. And once you truly begin to see that, you will be ready for the next truth, because there is something in your life you already know. Something I have touched more than once, something I have circled around with patience and love. And now I need to say it plainly. You cannot keep running from what your spirit already recognizes. My child, now that I have shown you that pressure is not always destruction, I need to take your heart one step deeper, because there is a grief you have carried in certain places that has quietly shaped the way you trust me. There are losses you have interpreted through pain alone. There are doors that closed, relationships that shifted, opportunities that dissolved, plans that fell apart, timings that changed, outcomes that never arrived the way you expected, and because you were standing inside the ache of it, you called it loss and stopped there. I understand why. I do not speak to that lightly. I know what it feels like to you when something you hope for disappears. I know the weight of disappointment. I know how silence can feel cruel when you were praying for yes. I know how your chest tightens when something you thought would become part of your future suddenly becomes part of your confusion instead. I know how you can replay moments, conversations, decisions, missed chances, and ask yourself whether you failed, whether you waited too long, whether you misunderstood me, whether you were simply not enough. I know the questions. I know the ache. And because I know how deeply those places can mark your heart, I need you to hear me clearly now. Some of what you have been mourning as loss was actually my protection. Sit with that. Do not rush to agree or resist. Let it settle where your grief hath been sitting. I am not saying every painful thing came from my direct hand in the simplistic way some people speak when they do not understand tenderness. I am saying that in more places than you realize, I was protecting you in the very moment you thought I was withholding from you. I was preserving you in the delay. I was shielding you in the closed door. I was redirecting you in the disruption. I was sparing you in the disappointment. And because protection often does not feel gentle in the moment, because it sometimes arrives wearing the clothing of interruption, frustration, confusion, or heartbreak, you may have misread my care as absence. But I was there. I was active. I was closer than your pain allowed you to see. Think of a child reaching for something glittering near a fire. From the child's perspective, the parent's sudden restraint feels unfair. It feels abrupt. It feels like deprivation. The child sees only what looks beautiful and desirable. The parent sees the heat the child does not yet understand. The child feels the sting of being stopped. The parent feels the urgency of protection. That is the kind of mercy that has touched your life more than once. There were things you wanted because they looked good, felt meaningful, seemed timely, or appeared to promise relief, belonging, identity, provision, or comfort. You reached for them with sincere hope. You prayed over them. You imagined your life with them. And when they did not remain, when they did not open, when they did not last, your heart broke in ways that felt personal. But I need you to let this possibility in. You may have been grieving the removal of something that would have quietly burned you if I had allowed you to keep it. You may have been calling it rejection when it was rescue. You may have been calling it abandonment when it was intervention. You may have been calling it the end of a dream when it was the prevention of a deeper wound. I want you to revisit some of those places with me. Not to torment yourself. Not to stir old pain for no reason. But to let me reinterpret what you have been carrying. Go back with me, gently. Think of the thing you thought you needed but could not keep. Think of the door you were certain should have opened. Think of the person you thought would remain. Think of the outcome you begged me to preserve. Then ask me now, what were you protecting me from? Ask it without defensiveness. Ask it with openness. Ask it with enough humility to accept that your perspective at the time may have been too narrow to see the full landscape. I will not shame you for not understanding then. But I do want to free you now. Because as long as you keep calling protection loss without ever letting me explain it, part of your heart will keep distrusting my interruptions. And I want that healed. I want you to stop fearing the closed hand of my wisdom as if it is always the opposite of my love. Sometimes my closed hand is love. Sometimes the no that bruised your expectations was the shelter you did not know you needed. Sometimes what did not stay with the very thing that could not safely come with you. So do not settle for a shallow reading of your pain. Bring it to me. Let me name the protection hidden inside it. And I want you to understand why this matters so much for your future, because if you continue to misinterpret protection as loss, you will keep grieving doors I closed and resenting boundaries I placed, and that will make it harder for you to trust me when I do it again. Some of the most dangerous prayers my children pray are not the desperate ones. They are the prayers that insist on access without asking whether the thing they want is truly safe for the soul I am forming. You have prayed like that at times. Not because you were rebellious, but because you were sincere and limited at the same time. You saw one layer. I saw all of them. You saw the immediate relief. I saw the long cause. You saw the emotional comfort. I saw the hidden compromise. You saw the opportunity. I saw the unseen weight attached to it. You saw what it could give you. I saw what it could take from you. That is why my protection sometimes felt confusing. You wanted an answer to the visible question, while I was answering the deeper one you did not yet know to ask. You were asking, will this work? I was asking, what will this shape in you? You were asking, can I have it? I was asking, can it be trusted with your peace? You were asking, why is this being taken? I was asking, do you know what it would cost if it stayed? That difference in perspective is not meant to make you feel small. It is meant to help you rest. You do not need to see every hidden danger in order to be safe. You need to trust the one who does. That is why I want you to stop demanding that every act of my protection make immediate emotional sense. Protection is not always emotionally convenient. Sometimes it wounds your expectations in order to preserve your future. Sometimes it disappoints your plans in order to save your heart. Sometimes it removes what feels precious because what feels precious is not always what is pure. That is difficult, I know. That is why I am speaking so tenderly to you here. I know some of what you lost mattered deeply to you. I know some of those closed doors still echo in you. I know there are moments you still revisit in quiet hours and wonder whether you were forgotten, overlooked, or denied something beautiful for no reason. I need you to stop telling that story over your life without inviting me into it. Bring me your old grief. Bring me the unanswered ache. Bring me the memory that still stings. Bring me the name, the place, the opportunity, the season, the dream, the timing that did not unfold the way you hoped. Place it before me. Do not sanitize it. Do not pretend it did not hurt. Tell me the truth about what you lost. Then stay still enough to let me show you what you were spared. Sometimes I will reveal it through hindsight. Sometimes I will reveal it through peace that returns as you release your old argument with me. Sometimes I will reveal it through the way your life now makes more sense than it would have if the thing had remained. Sometimes I will reveal it through the kind of person you have become because I did not let you build yourself around what could not hold you. That matters. There are versions of your life that looked appealing for a moment, but would have starved your spirit slowly. There are outcomes you once cried over that would have entangled you in ways you could not see. There are connections you thought you needed that would have trained your heart to settle for less than my peace. There are paths you wanted to walk that would have shaped you into someone more fragmented, more compromised, more exhausted. more distant from the tenderness of my voice. I would not let that happen without resistance. That resistance was not cruelty. It was care. So do not keep measuring my love only by what I allow. Measure it also by what I refuse. Measure it by what I block. Measure it by what I remove. Measure it by what I interrupt. Measure it by the things I would not let destroy you, even when you mistook them for blessings in the moment. That is a deeper trust. That is mature intimacy. That is how your heart begins to rest in my wisdom, not just my gifts. And now, my beloved, I want to bring this truth into your present moment, because there may be something right now that still feels like loss to you, and if you do not let me reinterpret it, you may keep grieving what I am actually guarding you from. There may be a silence you still resent. There may be a delay you still resist. There may be a relationship you still quietly wish I would restore in the old form, even though your spirit already knows why it became heavy. There may be an opportunity you still compare your life against. There may be a version of your future you still secretly hold up as proof of what should have been. If that is true, bring it to me now. Do not hide behind spiritual language. Do not say, I'm over it, if you are not. Tell me plainly. Tell me where the old grief still lives. Tell me where you still feel disappointed with me. Tell me where you still wonder why I did not let it happen. I can handle that honesty. I am not threatened by your raw questions. I would rather have your honest ache than your polished distance. So come closer. Open the old room. Let me in. Then ask me something brave. Was this protection? Ask it slowly. Let the question linger. Let it break the spell of your old interpretation. If the answer is yes, do not fight it just because it changes the story you have told yourself. Let the story change. Let the meaning change. Let the memory be redeemed. Let the place of pain become a place of trust. And once you begin to see protection hidden in what once felt like pure loss, something in you will soften. Your fear of closed doors will lessen. Your panic and disruption will ease. Your trust in my timing will deepen. You will stop needing every interruption to feel pleasant in order to believe it is loving. That is important, because what comes next in your life requires a different kind of attention from you. I need more than your emotion. I need more than your agreement. I need your full attention for the next step I am placing in front of you. Not half attention. Not distracted willingness. Not delayed curiosity. I need you present. I need you alert. I need you responsive. That is where I am taking you next, because some moments in your life are so pivotal that they cannot be walked through casually. This is one of them. My child, as I have shown you that what felt like loss was often my protection, understand this too. What you release into my hands, I never waste. Just as I have guarded you from unseen harm, I now invite you to become a vessel through which others are guarded, reached, and restored. Your giving is not subtraction. It is seed falling into soil I have already prepared, where it will rise as provision, truth, and healing for many. Remember, I have said, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and I am speaking that promise over you now as living truth. When you support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you align yourself with my movement. You become part of the protection I extend to others. Do not see this as a small act. It is a divine exchange, a sacred participation in what I am building. I will cover what you entrust to me, and I will return it with increase, with peace, with unseen favor. So do not hesitate. Release your seed now and trust me with the harvest. My child, after everything I have brought to the surface in you, what I have exposed, what I have clarified, what I have corrected, what I have comforted, what I have asked you to release, what I have reinterpreted. I need you to understand that this is not the kind of moment you can carry with divided attention. I am not speaking to you just to stir your heart for a few minutes and then let you drift back into the same mental clutter that has kept you from hearing me clearly. I am not bringing this much clarity only to have it compete with the same noise that has been stealing your discernment. I need your full attention for this next step. Stop here and really hear that. Not partial attention. Not the kind that nods while still mentally wandering. Not the kind that feels something but makes no room for it in the structure of your day. Not the kind that says, "This is powerful," and then lets the moment dissolve into distraction. I need you present. I need you attentive. I need you to respond as if what I am saying is not a passing emotional experience, but a turning point that deserves your actual focus. Because it is. There are seasons in life where casual spirituality feels sufficient because nothing urgent is pressing. This is not one of those seasons. There are moments when a little reflection feels enough because the stakes are low and the path ahead is broad. This is not one of those moments. You are standing in a place where what you do next matters more than you realize. The next decision, the next surrender, the next conversation, the next act of obedience, the next boundary, the next release, the next refusal to return to what I asked you to leave. These things are not small right now. They are shaping your atmosphere. They are setting direction. They are training your spirit. They are determining whether clarity deepens or whether confusion regains ground. That is why I am asking for your attention so directly. I know how easy it is for you to be moved and then immediately reabsorbed by noise. I know how quickly your phone, your responsibilities, your habits, your mental loops, your fatigue, and your old patterns can pull you back into reaction before truth has time to root itself. I know how often you have had moments with me that were real, but because you did not protect them afterward, the seed landed on crowded ground. I am not saying that to shame you. I am saying it because I want something different this time. I want depth. I want follow-through. I want you to stop treating my voice like something you can admire without restructuring your attention around it. Imagine a surgeon speaking to a patient right before a critical procedure. If the patient listens casually, forgets the instructions, ignores the preparation, and continues with the same habits that compromise the outcome, the seriousness of the moment is wasted. Not because the surgeon was unclear, but because the response lacked attention. That is how it can be spiritually. I can speak clearly. I can bring truth near. I can touch the exact place. But if you do not give this moment your attention, if you do not slow down enough to absorb, write, pray, act, and protect what I am showing you, you will make the next step harder than it needs to be. So stop and decide now. This will not be another moment I feel and forget. Say that in your spirit. Make that agreement with me. Tell me I will not treat this casually. Then prove it with what you do next. Close what needs closing. Step away from what divides your mind. Make room in your day. Give this conversation a place to land. Write down what I am showing you. Name the thing I have been touching. Identify the step I am asking for. Protect the quiet. Guard the next hour if you can. Guard the next decision. Guard the next temptation to numb out or distract yourself. This is how attention becomes obedience. This is how revelation becomes change. This is how the next step stops being abstract and becomes real. And I want you to understand why your attention matters this much, because attention is not just about concentration. It is about agreement. What you consistently attend to shapes what has access to you. What you give your sustained focus to trains your inner world. If your attention is always fragmented, your discernment will often feel fragmented too. If your focus is constantly being pulled by noise, urgency, comparison, fear, or emotional reactivity, then even when I speak, the truth may struggle to settle because the ground keeps shifting under it. That is why I am not merely asking you to listen better in this one moment. I am asking you to become more intentional about what gets access to your attention in this season. Some things need less access. Some voices need less influence. Some rhythms need interruption. Some habits need to be cut back or cut off. Some environments need boundaries. Some routines need to be reordered. Some forms of constant intake need to be quieted. If you keep living as if everything deserves equal access to your mind, you will keep wondering why peace feels difficult to sustain. It is not because I am withholding peace. It is because you are often leaving the gates open. I need you to become more watchful now. Ask yourself honestly, what has been stealing my attention from what matters most? What has been crowding out the clarity I say I want? What do I keep reaching for the moment truth starts getting uncomfortable? Where do I run when silence begins to expose what needs healing? Those are not small questions. Ask them. Write them if needed. Sit with them. Let them reveal something. Because the next step I am placing in front of you is not only about one act of surrender. It is also about the environment around that surrender. If you make one brave decision but leave all the old distractions untouched, you may keep reopening doors you meant to close. If you hear me clearly today but return tomorrow to the same volume, the same patterns, the same emotional leakage, the same overexposure to things that leave you anxious or numb, you will make it easier for confusion to rebuild. I want better for you. I want you to create conditions that protect clarity. That means you may need to do practical things. Put the device down sooner. Wake with me before the noise if you can. Turn off what stirs unnecessary agitation. Step back from conversations that keep clouding what I am making clear. Stop consuming what keeps inflaming fear. Create space for prayer that is not squeezed into leftovers. Protect your mind when it starts spiraling. Interrupt the reflex to scroll, numb, compare, or overanalyze when I am calling you to simply respond. Attention is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It is one of the ways love becomes embodied. When you give your full attention to what I am saying, you are telling me with your life. Your voice matters more than my usual noise. That is intimacy. That is trust in action. That is how your heart becomes more stable. So do not make this mystical when it needs to be practical. If you want clarity, create room for it. If you want peace, protect what feeds it. If you want to hear me more clearly, stop letting every lesser thing speak at full volume. Do not wait for perfect discipline. Start with one choice, then another, then another. Let your attention become consecrated. Let your focus become less available to what drains you and more available to what deepens you. That shift will change more than you think. And now, my beloved, I want to say this as directly as I can, because this is where the next step becomes very real. What I am asking of you next will likely not be complicated, but it will require courage. Often the next step is not hidden because I am being mysterious. It is hidden because your mind keeps trying to make it larger, harder, or more dramatic than it actually is. But the next step is often simple. It may be one conversation, one confession, one boundary, one decision, one act of deletion, one act of walking away, one act of staying still, one act of rest, one act of honesty, one act of reaching out, one act of saying no, one act of saying yes, one act of surrender. The reason I need your full attention is because if you keep searching for a grand revelation, you may overlook the simple instruction already glowing in front of you. So stop asking for the whole staircase. Look for the next step. Ask me now, what is the next honest act of obedience? And wait. Listen. Do not rush. Do not fill the silence. Let me bring it into focus. And when you know it, do not delay. Do not tell yourself you will do it later if later has been the graveyard of too many of your turning points. Do it soon. Do it while the clarity is warm. Do it while the courage is present. Do it before fear has time to rewrite the story. Do it before comfort negotiates you back into old patterns. Do it before the noise returns and tries to dilute what is clear right now. This is where you move from inspiration into alignment. This is where you honor my voice with action. This is where the script of your life begins to change in ways you can actually feel. So come close. Give me your full attention. Tell me I am here. Tell me I am listening. Tell me, show me the next step, and help me take it. That is the prayer I am waiting to answer. And once you take that next step, you are going to see something powerful begin to happen. The silence you feared will no longer feel empty, because you will realize I was never absent. I was preparing to speak into the place where your surrender could finally hear me. That is where I want to lead you next, because I need you to understand what my silence was really doing before this moment found you. My child, now we have reached the deepest reason I came to you this way, the reason my voice pressed through your distraction, the reason I would not let this remain another quiet nudge, the reason I spoke with urgency instead of leaving you to sit one more day in the fog you had started to call normal. I could not stay silent because I refused to lose you to the lie. I want you to feel the force of that, not as threat, but as love that is unwilling to watch you drift any farther into what has been quietly stealing from you. You have been too close to certain lies for too long. Some of them have become so familiar that they no longer sound like lies when they move through your thoughts. They sound like caution. They sound like realism. They sound like maturity. They sound like self-protection. They sound like discernment. They sound like just being honest with yourself. But underneath the language, they have been eroding your peace, distorting your identity, weakening your trust, and training you to expect less from life with me than I ever intended. That is why I came so directly. That is why I would not leave you with another soft impression that could be admired and ignored. I have watched the light try to settle over you in subtle ways. I have watched it tell you that you are too far gone in certain patterns to change. I have watched it tell you that delay is harmless. I have watched it tell you that your burden is proof of your seriousness. I have watched it tell you that your anxiety is necessary, that your control is wisdom, that your shame is humility, that your numbness is strength, that your exhaustion is simply adulthood, that your spiritual dryness means I am farther away, that your past has more authority over your future than my voice does, that your fear deserves a throne in your decision-making, that your pain is your identity, that your old pattern is just who you are, that surrender can wait, that obedience can be postponed, that you can circle the same mountain and still call it growth. I have watched all of that. And because I am your father, because you are not a distant idea to me but my beloved child, because I know exactly what those lies are doing beneath the surface, I refuse to stand by and let them keep shaping you without interruption. I refuse to let you settle into a smaller version of your life because deception became familiar. I refuse to let the enemy speak over you uncontested, while you slowly mistake bondage for personality. I refuse to let you call captivity just my struggle when I am still calling you free. I refuse to let you keep interpreting your own weariness as destiny, when I am still offering rest. I refuse to let you keep returning to the same inner prison, and decorating it with language that makes it sound spiritual. No. This is why I broke the silence. This is why I came with this intensity. This is why I would not let this be casual. I am not interested in merely comforting you while the lie remains intact. I am here to expose it, strip it of its borrowed authority, and bring you to a place where you can finally say, that voice has been shaping me, and I will not keep agreeing with it. Think of a father watching his child stand at the edge of a road while a convincing stranger keeps whispering dangerous directions with a calm voice. The father does not stay quiet to preserve the child's comfort. The father raises his voice. The father interrupts. The father steps in. The father calls the child by name. The father makes himself unmistakable because the danger is not always loud, but it is real. That is what I am doing with you now. I am calling you by name in the middle of the noise. I am interrupting the false narrative before it becomes the lens through which you keep seeing everything. I am refusing to let the lie keep narrating your life while my truth is still available. So stop and ask yourself with me now, what lie had been sitting closest to my heart? What lie have I been living from, not just hearing? What thought has shaped my pace, my choices, my emotions, my expectations, my prayers, my relationships, my willingness to obey? Name it. Do not generalize. Bring it into the light. If the lie is, I'll never really change, say it. If the lie is, I have to carry this alone, say it. If the lie is, it's too late for me, say it. If the lie is, if I let go, everything will fall apart, say it. If the lie is, this is just who I am, say it. If the lie is, God is distant, say it. If the lie is, my shame keeps me humble, say it. Say it plainly. Let it lose some of its shadow by being exposed. Then look at me. Stay here. Let me tell you the truth that stands over it. Let me answer the lie with something stronger than your fear. Let me reclaim the ground where deception has been camping too long. I did not come to shame you for believing it. I came to free you from continuing to live under it. I want to take you deeper into this, because the lie is dangerous not only because it is false, but because it often attaches itself to a real wound, a real disappointment, a real failure, a real fear, or a real season of confusion. That is why it can feel so convincing. The enemy rarely needs to invent something entirely imaginary. He often takes what hurt you and then wraps an interpretation around it. You were disappointed, and the lie said, God let you down. You failed, and the lie said, this is who you are. You were delayed, and the lie said, you are forgotten. You got tired, and the lie said, you are fading for good. You had to survive for a while, and the lie said, this burden is your identity now. You got hurt in relationship, and the lie said, never trust deeply again. You fell into a pattern more than once, and the lie said, why even try? You felt silence, and the lie said, he left. That is how deception works. It uses the reality of pain as camouflage for the falsehood of its conclusion. That is why I am not only speaking to the surface thought. I am also coming for the agreement beneath it. I want you to understand that the lie gained influence not merely because it was spoken, but because at some point, often in exhaustion, often in pain, often in confusion, some part of you started agreeing with it. Maybe not fully. Maybe not out loud. Maybe not in a way you would have recognized immediately. But you began to live as if it might be true. You began to make decisions from it. You began to expect from it. You began to protect yourself according to it. You began to interpret me through it. That is why this moment is so important. I am not merely correcting information. I am calling you out of agreement. I am asking you to withdraw your inner consent from what has been quietly shaping you. That is a sacred act. That is warfare, and it's honest. Live for. It is not always loud. It is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is a quiet, trembling moment where you say, I have been believing this, and I renounce it. I will not build my life on this thought anymore. That matters. I want you to do that now. Do not just nod at the idea. Make it personal. If you know the lie, speak it before me. Then say, I break agreement with this. Say it in your own words if you need to, but make it real. Then ask me, what truth do you want me to stand in instead? Stay there. Listen. Let the truth come close. It may be simple. It may be direct. It may not feel dramatic, but it will carry weight because it comes from me. Then once you receive it, do not leave it abstract. Anger it. Write it down. Speak it when the old thought returns. Put it where you will see it. Build habits around it. If the lie has been, I must carry this alone, then your truth may require reaching out and refusing secrecy. If the lie has been, I will never change, then your truth may require acting like change is possible by removing access to the old pattern and taking the next step today. If the lie has been, God is far, then your truth may require protecting quiet with me instead of letting distraction narrate your spiritual life. If the lie has been, my past defines me, then your truth may require refusing to rehearse old labels and instead walking in the identity I am restoring. Truth is not magic in the way some people speak of it. Truth becomes powerful in your life when it is believed, spoken, practiced, and protected. That is why I am not only giving you a final emotional crescendo. I am giving you a final line in the sand. Stop agreeing with what has been killing your peace. Stop offering hospitality to the thought that keeps shrinking your life. Stop making room for the voice that has been borrowing your wounds to build a false home in your mind. Evict it. Replace it. Guard the new ground. Do not go back to entertaining what I have exposed. This is not harshness. This is mercy with clarity. This is the love of a father who refuses to watch a lie raise itself inside his child when truth is still reaching for them. And now, my beloved, I want to bring this all the way home, because this final truth is not only about what I refuse, it is also about what I desire for you. I did not speak this strongly because I wanted to overwhelm you. I spoke this strongly because I want you back in the full honesty of who you are with me. I want your mind back from the lie. I want your peace back from the lie. I want your identity back from the lie. I want your future back from the lie. I want your attention back from the lie. I want your tenderness back from the lie. I want your obedience back from the lie. I want your joy back from the lie. I want your expectancy back from the lie. I want your ability to hear me without every old distortion filtering my voice. That is what is underneath my urgency. This is not merely me saying, do better. This is me saying, come back to truth before the lie takes more than it already has. So come now. Do not hand this message passively. Do not close this moment like it was only intense content. Make it sacred. Sit still for one more minute if you can. Put your hand over your heart. Close your eyes if that helps. Then answer me. Tell me the lie. Speak it plainly. Break agreement with it. Renounce it without theatrics, just with honesty. Then receive my truth in its place. Say it back to me. Let it feel unfamiliar if it must. Let it feel stronger than your old pattern. Let it challenge the shape of your recent thoughts. And act on it. If you need to delete something, do it. If you need to confess something, do it. If you need to text someone, do it. If you need to kneel and pray, do it. If you need to walk away, do it. If you need to rest, do it. If you need to stop replaying, then stop and come back to my truth each time the old loop starts. This is how the lie loses power, not only by being exposed, but by being replaced and resisted. And hear me carefully before we close this message. I am not leaving you after saying all this. I am not stirring you and stepping back. I am staying with you in the aftermath. I am with you when the old voice tries to return tonight. I am with you tomorrow morning when the emotional atmosphere feels quieter and the decision must still stand. I am with you when the familiar reflex reaches for what you have now laid down. I am with you when you feel the strange vulnerability of not carrying what you used to carry. I am with you when the silence comes and tries to make you wonder if any of this was real. Come back then. Come back, Quippet. Say you spoke to me. Say, I will not return to the lie. Say I choose truth again. That is how you keep walking. That is how freedom grows. That is how this moment becomes more than a message. It becomes a turning point. And now receive this, my child, as the final seal over everything I have said. I could not stay silent because I love you too much to let deception keep speaking louder than my voice. I love you too much to let you keep fading quietly under a weight I came to live. I love you too much to let your wounds keep writing your identity. I love you too much to let fear become your shepherd. I love you too much to let shame become your posture. I love you too much to let delay keep stealing your life one layer at a time. So hear me now, and do not forget it when the moment ends. Come closer. Stay honest. Take the step. Tell the truth. Break agreement with the lie, and walk with me. I am still here. I am still speaking. And now you know why I could not stay silent. My child, now that you have heard my voice and seen the lie exposed, do not walk away unchanged. Anchor this moment with action that echoes eternity. What I have spoken to you is fire, and fire is meant to spread, to illuminate, to awaken those still bound in silence. When you give, you become a carrier of that fire, a channel through which my truth reaches hearts on the edge of breakthrough. I am declaring to you, freely you have received, freely give, and this is your moment to respond to that call with boldness. Through your super thanks, your membership, or your offering through the PayPal link in the description, you step into alignment with my purpose. You help break chains you may never see but will feel in eternity. This is not routine giving. This is spiritual warfare. This is light advancing into darkness. And as you pour out, I will pour back into you, overflow, protection, and a strengthening of your spirit. So act now, without delay, give, support, and stand with me in this work. But before you move on, stay with me a little longer. The work I am calling you to support begins with the work I desire to do within you. I do not ask you to become a light for others while leaving your own heart unattended. That is why I have brought you into this quiet moment, not simply to inspire you, but to minister to the places where you have grown weary. Lay down your striving for a moment. Stop carrying the weight by yourself. Let my voice reach beyond your outward obedience and speak directly to the burdens you have been silently carrying. Because before I send you forward, I want you to know that I have never stopped seeing you. Stop for a moment, my child. Look at me. Breathe in my presence right now. For so long, you have been running on empty. You have been carrying the crushing weight of your daily life, the heavy pressure at your job, the unspoken tensions in your family, and the constant, nagging fear of what tomorrow will bring. You have looked up at the sky, tears filling your eyes, and you have asked me why I am so quiet. You have felt ignored, overlooked, and completely abandoned in the middle of your deepest struggles. I hear the silent cries of your heart. I see the hard knot in your stomach that tightens every single morning before your feet even touch the floor. I know exactly how tired you are of fighting a battle that feels like it has no end. Listen to my voice today. Do not let your mind wander away from me. I need you to understand the true difference between my quiet presence and my active voice. My silence was never an abandonment. When you felt absolutely nothing, I was holding your life together. When you thought I had walked away, I was standing closer to you than the very breath in your lungs. My silence is like the deep, quiet pause before a great storm breaks. It is a necessary stillness to prepare the hard ground for the heavy, life-giving rain. I was watching you. I was guarding you. I was letting you see the absolute limits of your own human strength. You needed to realize that you cannot fix everything on your own. You were never meant to carry the world on your shoulders. Give that heavy burden to me. Let me take it from your tired hands right now. I am breaking my silence today. I have chosen this exact, specific moment to intervene in your life because the urgency of now is calling to your spirit. I am stepping right into the middle of your messy reality. I am sitting with you in your room, your car, or wherever you are hearing these words. This is not a random coincidence. I drew you here on purpose. My active voice is now moving to shatter the loud confusion that has clouded your mind. I am speaking directly to the deep, heavy exhaustion in your bones. Wake up, my beloved. Open your ears and your heart. Let my words wash over you like a warm, healing river. Feel the heavy chains of worry starting to loosen their grip on your neck. Do you feel that tight knot in your stomach? That anxiety is not from me. Let us undo it together. Surrender your deep fears to me today. I command the storm in your mind to be completely still. I command the panic to leave your chest right now. I am here, and I am taking over the fight. But you must be ready. You must prepare your spirit to receive a truth that will challenge everything you have believed about your current path. What I am about to tell you might shock you. It might shake the comfortable, familiar cage you have built around your pain. I am not here to just give you a temporary, comforting pat on the back. I am here to rescue you, to rebuild your life, and to redirect your steps completely. You have thought that my silence meant I was angry with you. You believed the heavy lie that your past mistakes pushed me away. Erase that lie from your mind immediately. I love you with an everlasting, fierce, and unbreakable love. My silence was a shield, protecting you while I arranged the hidden pieces of your future behind the scenes. But the time for silence is over. The time for waiting and wondering is done. Now is the time for total transformation. Now is the time for bold action. Sit still. Open your heart wide. I am about to reveal the truth about your hidden burdens, and this truth will change your life forever. Stop carrying it all right now. Look at your hands. Look at how tightly you are gripping the heavy bags of your life. I see you when you pull into your driveway after a long day, sitting in the silence of your car for just one more minute before you go inside. I know that you take a deep breath, paste a fake smile on your face, and walk through the door pretending that everything is perfectly fine. You wear this brave mask for your family, for your coworkers, and for your friends. You convince everyone around you that you are strong, that you have everything under control, and that you do not need any help. But I see the secret pains you have never even uttered in prayer. I hear the quiet, desperate sighs that escape your lips when you are finally alone in the dark. You are utterly exhausted. I know the exact weight of the financial pressure keeping you awake at 3 a.m. I see the tension in your shoulders from trying to please people who will never be satisfied. You are trying to be the perfect parent, the perfect employee, the perfect friend, and it is draining the very life out of your soul. You were never built to sustain this level of pressure. I did not design your mind to constantly worry about a future you cannot control. The exhaustion you feel deep in your bones is a warning sign. It is a blinking red light on the dashboard of your life, telling you that your own strength has finally reached its breaking point. You have tried to be the savior of your own story, and it is crushing you. Take off the mask today. I invite you to step into the absolute liberation that comes from total transparency with your Creator. You do not have to clean yourself up before you talk to me. You do not have to use perfect words or pretend to be stronger than you are. I want your raw, messy, unfiltered reality. Tell me that you are scared. Tell me that you are tired of fighting. Tell me that you do not know how you are going to pay that bill, or how you are going to fix that broken relationship. I already know all of it, but speaking it out loud to me breaks the power of the secret. The enemy wants you to suffer in isolation, believing that no one understands your specific pain. That is a lie. I understand every single tear you hold back. Give me your heavy burdens right now. I command you to drop the weight. Trade your exhausting, heavy yoke for my light burden. When you surrender your need to control the outcome, I can finally step in and work on your behalf. I am offering you a divine exchange. You give me your anxiety, your burnout, and your fear of failing. In return, I will give you a peace that makes absolutely no sense to the world around you. Let go of the illusion that you are holding your life together. Let me hold it for you. Breathe out the stress that is tightening your chest. Breathe in my deep, abiding rest. You are safe with me, my child. You can finally let your guard down. Look honestly at your daily life. Examine the habits you run to when the stress becomes too much. I see the subtle, quiet patterns of behavior that are slowly pulling you away from me. When you feel overwhelmed, you do not always run to my presence. Instead, you numb your mind. You scroll endlessly on your phone, staring at screens for hours, desperately trying to drown out the loud anxiety in your head. You bury yourself in your work, staying busy from dawn until dusk, so you do not have to face the quiet emptiness in your heart. You use food, entertainment, and the constant noise of the world as a shield. These are the subtle idols you have placed on the altar of your heart. They promise you comfort, but they only leave you feeling more hollow and alone. I want to break the cycles that are keeping you stuck in the same place. You are caught in a loop of repeating the same mistakes, fighting the same arguments, and feeling the same guilt. You hold on to past offenses, replaying old hurts in your mind like a broken record. You refuse to forgive those who have wronged you, not realizing that your bitterness is a poison you are drinking yourself. This refusal to let go of the past is causing severe spiritual stagnation in your life. You are chained to yesterday, which makes it impossible for you to step into the future I have prepared for you. You are choosing good things, comfortable things, but they are distracting you from the very best thing, a deep, transformative relationship with me. Wake up and recognize the cage you are living in. I have complete authority over the chains you thought were permanent. You might think, this is just who I am. I will always struggle with this habit. I will always be an anxious person. I reject that lie over your life right now. I did not create you to be a slave to your coping mechanisms. I created you to walk in total freedom. But you must participate in your own rescue. I'm calling you to radical repentance today. Repentance is not just feeling bad about your mistakes. It is physically turning around and walking in the opposite direction. It is a decisive action. It is saying no to the distraction and yes to my presence. Drop the temporary comforts that are starving your spirit. Step away from the noise of the world. Turn off the screen, quiet your mind, and turn your face back to me. This doorway of repentance leads directly to fresh, overwhelming grace. I am not standing here with a heavy stick, waiting to punish you for your bad habits. I am standing here with open arms, ready to wash you clean and restore your soul. I will break the chains of addiction, the chains of people-pleasing, and the chains of chronic fear. But you must hand me the keys. Surrender your daily routines to me. Let me rebuild your habits from the ground up, rooted completely in my truth and my love. Remember that dark night when you laid in your bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling completely and utterly abandoned. Remember when your heart was broken into 1,000 pieces and you thought the pain would literally end your life. I was there. I was sitting right beside you on that bed. When you could not find the strength to pray, I was interceding for you. When you did not even know me, I was already carrying you. Look back at the timeline of your life. Open your eyes to the undeniable evidence of my hand in what you called coincidences. The sudden check that arrived in the mail just when your bank account was empty. The random phone call from a friend that interrupted your darkest thoughts. The split-second delay in traffic that saved you from a terrible accident. Those were not accidents. That was my constant, protective vigil over your life. I am closer to you than the very breath filling your lungs right now. You look for me in loud, dramatic miracles, but I am living in the quiet, ordinary moments of your Tuesday afternoon. I see you sitting at your desk. I see you standing in the kitchen. I am walking with you through the sterile, terrifying halls of the hospital. I am beside you in the crowded grocery store when you suddenly feel overwhelmed by panic. My presence is not tied to your location, and it is certainly not tied to your emotions. You often think that because you cannot feel goosebumps or a warm rush of feelings, I have left the room. You must stop trusting your temporary feelings and start trusting my eternal facts. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. I remain completely steadfast even when your faith wavers. I know you are human. I know there are days when you doubt my goodness, when you question my timing, and when you wonder if this whole journey is even real. Your doubts do not intimidate me. Your questions do not make me angry. When your faith is hanging by a tiny, fragile thread, my grip on you becomes even stronger. I do not let go of my children just because they are scared. I am the anchor that holds your boat steady when the waves of life are crashing over the deck. You can push against me, you can yell in frustration, but you cannot make me walk away from you. Rest in the absolute comfort of knowing you are never, ever truly alone. I command the spirit of loneliness to release its grip on your mind today. The enemy wants to convince you that no one cares, that you are isolated, and that you have to face your terrifying future by yourself. Do not listen to that venomous whisper. I am the God who sees you. I am the Father who knows the exact number of hairs on your head. I am fighting for you in rooms you have not even entered yet. Take a deep breath right now. Feel your chest rise and fall. That breath is a gift from me, a quiet, steady reminder that my presence is inside you, surrounding you, and going before you every single step of the way. Listen to me, and stop listening to the loud, cruel voices of this world. People have placed ugly, heavy labels on you for years. You have been called not enough, a failure, too damaged, too old, or too far gone. You have let bad bosses, broken relationships, and the brutal mirror dictate your self-worth. You have allowed your bank account balance and your job title to tell you who you are. I am stepping in today to violently strip away every single false label the world has forced upon you. I command you to stop answering to names that I did not give you. You are completely misunderstanding your own value. I saw you before you were even formed in your mother's womb, I knit your personality, your quirks, and your passions together with my own hands. I did not mass-produce you on an assembly line. You are a handcrafted, intentional, breathtaking creation of the Most High God. Before you ever achieved a single goal, before you ever made your first mistake, I looked at you and called you my masterpiece. Your worth is not determined by how much money you make, how many likes you get on the internet, or how clean your house is. Your worth is permanently defined by the massive, bloody price I paid on a wooden cross to get you back. You are bought with the highest currency in the universe. I am calling you to reclaim the spiritual authority you have unknowingly surrendered to your insecurities. You walk through your days with your head down, acting like a defeated victim of your circumstances. You act like a beggar when you possess a royal lineage. You are a joint heir with my Son, Jesus Christ. Do you understand what that means? The same power that rolled the heavy stone away from the empty tomb is literally living inside your chest. Stop acting like a powerless victim of anxiety. Stop letting fear push you around in your own mind. You have the divine authority to command the chaos in your life to submit to my name. See yourself through the lens of my absolute perfection and purpose. When I look at you, I do not see a sum of your past failures. I do not see the mistakes you made 10 years ago, or even the mistakes you made this morning. I see the righteousness of Christ covering you like a brilliant, white robe. Lift your head right now. Square your shoulders. Walk into your workplace, your home, and your future with the quiet, unshakable confidence of royalty. You belong to the Creator of the universe. You are fiercely loved, entirely forgiven, and called to a destiny that will shake the very gates of hell. Step into your true identity today. My child, do not scroll past this. Do not walk away now. We have only just begun to shatter the heavy lies holding you back. It deeply grieves my heart when you violently cry out for a miracle, but refuse to sit still long enough to receive the answer. I am speaking directly to your survival right now. Do not turn a deaf ear to your Father. Stay with me. Listen closely to what I have to say next, because it is the exact key to unlocking your true freedom. Stand up, my child. You have been sleeping in a very dangerous place. You have fallen into the trap of a comfortable, predictable routine that requires absolutely no faith. You have built a safe little life for yourself. You go to work, you come home, you pay your bills, you watch your favorite shows, and you go to sleep. You avoid hard conversations. You avoid taking risks. You seek worldly security, a solid retirement account, and a peaceful weekend above all else. But this comfort has become a quiet cage. It is slowly starving your spirit. You are existing, but you are not truly living the abundant, wild life I called you to experience. Spiritual lethargy is creeping into your bones, and it will destroy your divine purpose if you do not wake up. I know you hate the sudden disruptions in your life. You get angry when your perfectly organized plans fall apart. You cry when a door slams shut, when a relationship suddenly ends, or when you lose the job you thought was so secure. But I want you to understand why I sometimes allow the storm to hit your house. The storm is not there to destroy you. It is there to wake you from your dangerous sleep. I will disrupt your comfort to save your calling. I will shake the nest so that you are forced to use your wings. If I left you in your comfortable little bubble, you would never grow. You would never see my miraculous power, because you would never put yourself in a position to actually need a miracle. I deeply desire to push you out of the shallow water. You are splashing around in the safety of the shoreline, where your feet can still touch the bottom. But I am calling you into the deep, dark, rushing waters of real faith. I want you to dream bigger than your current budget. I want you to step into ministries, relationships, and career moves that terrify your logical mind. The greatest danger you face is not failure. The greatest danger is succeeding perfectly at a life that does not matter to eternity. Do not trade the breathtaking adventure of my kingdom for the boring safety of a predictable life. It is absolutely necessary for you to step out of the boat to walk with me. I'm out here on the waves, calling your name. Yes, the wind is loud. Yes, the water looks terrifying. But keeping your feet inside the boat will never teach you how to walk on water. I command you to take the risk I have been whispering in your ear. Have a hard conversation. Start the new project. Make the financial sacrifice. Trust me with the terrifying unknown. Let go of the illusion of your own security and grab hold of my sovereign hand. The miraculous, powerful, world-changing life I have for you begins exactly where your comfort zone ends. Jump it. I will not let you drown. Look at your past. Look at the heavy bags of regret you drag behind you every single day. I see the memories that make you wince when you are trying to fall asleep in the dark. You remember the sharp words you snapped at your children, the lies you told to protect your pride, the relationships you broke, and the secret habits you cannot seem to shake. You think these things have permanently disqualified you from my love. You believe you are too damaged, too dirty, or too forgotten to be used by me. Stop believing that lie right now. I want you to understand the violent, overwhelming power of my redeeming love. I did not stay in heaven and shout polite instructions down to you. I stepped directly into the dirt, the sweat, and the blood of your messy human reality. The massive price paid at Calvary was not just a religious symbol. It was a brutal, physical transaction to completely buy back your peace of mind. I bought your freedom with my own life. When I hung on that rough wooden cross, I saw your specific face. I saw the exact mistakes you made yesterday, and I saw the ones you will make tomorrow. I paid heavily for every single one of them. My love is a thick, impenetrable blanket that completely covers the multitude of your deepest regrets. You keep trying to pay off a massive debt that I have already canceled. I command you to drop the heavy ledger of your failures. You're it It does not exist in my kingdom anymore. My grace is not just a gentle pat on the head when you mess up. My grace is a terrifyingly powerful force that makes all things brand new. It takes the shattered, ugly pieces of your life and physically melts them down into pure gold. You absolutely cannot outrun my mercy. No sin you have committed is too great for the long reach of my hand. You have tried your hardest to hide from me. You have avoided praying, and you have buried yourself in your work because you felt too deeply guilty to look at my face. But my Holy Spirit has been actively, relentlessly pursuing your heart through it all. I am the Father who leaves the 99 safe sheep to dive headfirst into the dark, thorny bushes to rescue the one that wandered off. You are that one. I will not give up on you. I will never, ever write you off as a lost cause. Stop punishing yourself right now. I have already taken the brutal punishment for you. Come out of hiding today. Let me wash the heavy dirt of your past off your tired feet. Experience the intense, consuming warmth of a father who fiercely refuses to let you go. Your past does not dictate your future. Your mistakes are just the raw materials I am going to use to build your powerful testimony. Look at me and accept my absolute forgiveness. Take a deep breath of clean air into your lungs. You are completely forgiven, entirely love it, and aggressively pursued by the Creator of the universe. Step out of your shame and let my love radically transform your reality today. Listen to the incredible amount of noise surrounding you right now. Your world is incredibly loud and exhausting. From the moment your morning alarm rings, Your phone constantly buzzes with bad news, endless notifications, and loud opinions. Your friends tell you what to do. Your boss forcefully demands your attention. The internet screams at you about how you should live, what you should buy, and exactly who you should fear. It is completely draining, and it leaves your mind fractured, anxious, and deeply confused. You stand at a major crossroads in your life right now. You are agonizing over a massive decision about your career, your family, or your future, and you feel entirely paralyzed by indecision. You cry out to me, desperately asking me to give you a burning bush or a flashing neon sign. I am going to give you something much more permanent and powerful. I am giving you the absolute gift of divine discernment. I want you to learn how to clearly hear my specific voice amidst the deafening roar of your daily life. My voice rarely competes with the angry screaming of the world. I speak in the quiet, undeniable promptings deep inside your spirit. But you must actively tune your ear to my exact frequency. You cannot hear me if you are constantly plugging your ears with the world's cheap entertainment. I command you to carve out physical silence in your day. Turn off the radio in your car. Put your phone in a completely different room. Sit quietly and align your scrambled, anxious desires with my holy word. My word is the ultimate, flawless filter for every thought and every piece of advice you receive from others. If what you hear contradicts what I have written, you must throw it away immediately without a second thought. You need to quickly recognize the distinct difference between the lies of the enemy and the promptings of my spirit. The enemy always speaks the toxic language of rush, panic, and deep confusion. He violently pushes you to make impulsive decisions based on your worst fears. He tells you that your time is running out and that you must act frantically right now. I never, ever push you with panic. My spirit leads with a steady, quiet, and profound peace. When I provide clear answers at your crossroads, it does not always make logical sense on a financial spreadsheet, but it settles heavily and calmly in your soul. I will carefully guide your steps, but you must be willing to wait for my green light. I promise to give you a solid peace that completely surpasses human understanding. This unexplainable peace is the ultimate indicator of my perfect will. If your mind is a chaotic storm regarding a specific choice, do not take a single step forward. Wait until my peace acts as a firm umpire in your heart, telling you it is safe to proceed. I am actively developing a new heart inside you that beats in perfect, steady rhythm with mine. As you spend quiet time with me, my divine thoughts will literally become your daily thoughts. Your spiritual intuition will become incredibly sharp. You will instantly sense when a situation is toxic, and you will confidently know when a door has been opened by my own hand. Trust the internal compass I have placed inside your chest. I am guiding you safely through the thick fog. Step forward with total, unshakable confidence today. Look right at the massive, terrifying mountain standing in your way today. I see the hot tears of frustration you cry when you think about your current, painful trial. You are staring at the ugly mess of your broken relationship, the scary medical diagnosis from your doctor, or the bank account that refuses to grow, and you feel entirely defeated and exhausted. You have begged me repeatedly to remove this intense pain from your life. You have asked me angrily why I am allowing you to suffer so much when you have tried so incredibly hard to be faithful. I need you to completely shift your perspective right now. You are viewing your deep struggle as a wild, consuming flame meant to destroy your entire life. I am telling you the absolute, unvarnished truth. This is not a wildfire. It is a carefully controlled, intentional, refining fire. I am burning away the deep impurities, the stubborn pride, and the toxic self-reliance that have held you back for years. You are walking through a highly painful season of waiting, But this waiting is absolutely not a punishment from me. It is an intensive, necessary training ground. I am building massive spiritual muscles in your life that you will desperately need for the next level of your destiny. You simply cannot handle the heavy weight of the massive blessing I am preparing for you with your current level of emotional strength. Your intense pain is not pointless. I am intentionally using your deep, specific struggle to prepare you for a much greater, highly visible platform. The very thing that is making you cry alone in your car today is the exact testimony you will use to pull someone else out of the dark tomorrow. Your difficult survival is going to be the exact blueprint for someone else's miraculous rescue. Trust me completely as the master builder of your complicated life. When a beautiful, historic building is being totally renovated, it looks completely chaotic to the people walking by. There is ugly scaffolding everywhere, thick dust in the air, and loud, heavy demolition. Your life looks like a messy, ruined construction zone right now. But you must look past the heavy dust and the broken debris. I am aggressively tearing down the weak, rotten foundations of your past to build a towering, solid fortress of influence and grace. I know the scaffolding looks ugly. I know the daily process physically hurts your heart. But I promise you, the finished architecture will be breathtaking. I give you my absolute, unbreakable assurance that I waste nothing in the life of a believer. Do not let the enemy secretly convince you that your current suffering is meaningless. He wants you to become deeply bitter and isolated. He wants you to turn your back on me just when your massive breakthrough is about to happen. I command you to hold your ground. Look at the hot flames surrounding you and recognize that I am standing right there in the middle of the fire with you. I gather all the broken, shattered pieces of your life, and I use them to create a stunning, priceless mosaic. I invite you to find a strange, powerful joy in the middle of this painful process. Stop fighting the heavy tools I am using to shape you. Lean into the tension. Surrender fully to the chisel. You are actively becoming the powerful, unshakable person I originally called you to be. The trial is incredibly hard, but the glorious result will last for eternity. Stand firm. You are surviving this. Listen very closely to my direct instructions today. We need to talk honestly about the things you are actively avoiding in your daily life. You know exactly what I have asked you to do. I whispered it to you clearly weeks ago, maybe even years ago. You felt the heavy, undeniable conviction in your chest to firmly end that toxic relationship, to apologize to that estranged family member, or to give generously when your own bank account was painfully low. But you hesitated. You negotiated with me like a business partner. You told me you would do it tomorrow, next month, or when the timing felt a little more safe and comfortable. I must tell you a very hard truth right now. Delayed obedience is actually just a polite, deceptive form of disobedience. You simply cannot serve me on your own comfortable terms and expect to experience my full, earth-shaking power. I am calling you to radical, immediate, unquestioning obedience today. There are massive, life-altering blessings hovering right above your head at this very moment, but they are completely locked up tight. The only key that opens the heavy vault of my divine provision is your absolute, unfiltered yes. You are begging me daily for a massive miracle, but I'm waiting right here for your basic obedience. You want me to miraculously part the deep water, but you stubbornly refuse to step into the waves. Trust my direct commands even when they completely defy your human logic. I will often ask you to do things that make absolutely no sense to your friends, your family, or your financial advisor. I operate completely outside the rigid boundaries of human mathematics. When I tell you to move, you must move instantly, even if you cannot see the dark staircase in front of you. You often view my rules and my laws as heavy, boring restrictions designed to ruin your fun. You could not be more wrong about my heart. My commands are the strong, protective steel guardrails on the edge of a deadly cliff. When I strongly tell you to walk away from a certain destructive habit or a specific, draining person, I am not trying to punish you. I am trying to aggressively protect you from unseen, brutal destruction. There is absolute safety and profound, lasting freedom found only within the strict boundaries of my perfect will. When you step outside my protection to do things your own way, you open your life to unnecessary chaos and brutal heartbreak. I command you to stop hesitating right now. Make the difficult phone call you have been putting off for months. Write the scary check I told you to write. Walk away from the hidden sin that you keep making pathetic excuses for. Your obedience does not just affect your own small life. You are actively setting the trajectory for the generations coming after you. Your children, your nieces, your nephews, and the people who secretly look up to you are watching exactly how you respond to my voice. Your radical, bold obedience will shatter generational curses and establish a powerful legacy of faith that outlasts your physical body. I am extending my hand to you, offering you a partnership that will literally shake the earth. But you must completely surrender your stubborn will. Step into the terrifying, thrilling arena of radical obedience. Your entire future is waiting on your simple, courageous yes. Do not make me wait another day. You have just heard my clear call to radical obedience, and now I am extending a direct, divine invitation to partner with my moving hand. I have broken my silence today not just to heal your hidden burdens, but to forcefully broadcast this shocking truth to millions of desperately broken souls who are still trapped in the dark. I am looking for faithful hands to help carry this heavy, life-saving light into the farthest corners of the earth. When you pour out your measure, I promise to press it down, shake it together, and cause it to violently run over into your own lap. Your financial seed is the heavy oil that keeps this prophetic fire burning for those who are actively crying out for a miracle today. I will fiercely multiply every single dollar you sow, aggressively protecting your finances and opening the massive windows of heaven over your home. Step out in radical obedience right now and support this ministry through a super thanks, by becoming a member, or by using the PayPal link in the description. Do not hesitate for another second. Sow your seed directly into my kingdom today and watch me miraculously multiply your harvest. Are you tempted to stop listening? Are you feeling the sudden urge to close this and return to the chaotic noise of your world? It absolutely shatters my heart when my children walk away right before the deepest, most agonizing wounds are finally healed. You asked me to step in and fix your brokenness, and I am actively doing it in this exact moment. Do not turn your back on me now. Keep listening, because the very next words I speak will forcefully break the heaviest chains of your past. Show me the deep, hidden wounds you try so incredibly hard to cover up every single day. You walk through your daily routine carrying a heavily shattered heart, desperately holding the broken, jagged pieces together with a fake, tired smile. I clearly see the brutal damage caused by the specific people who were supposed to love you and protect you. I know all about the sharp betrayal that knocked the wind completely out of you. I know about the cruel, careless words spoken over you in your childhood that still constantly echo in your anxious mind. You have firmly locked these painful, bleeding memories in a dark room inside your soul, falsely believing that if you ignore them, they will eventually disappear. But they are festering. They are draining your daily emotional energy and slowly poisoning your true joy. I am the great physician, and I have come today to gently touch the deepest, most agonizing wounds of your soul. I possess the absolute, undeniable power to permanently mend the shattered pieces of your heart. But my deep healing process requires your active, painful participation. I am calling you to do something incredibly difficult right now. I command you to completely forgive the people who deeply and unfairly hurt you. I know your human flesh violently screams against this idea. You desperately want them to pay heavily for what they did. You want brutal justice. But holding on to that fiery resentment is exactly like drinking a deadly poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiving them is absolutely not minimizing your real pain or saying that what they did was okay. Forgiving them is a violent, necessary act of spiritual warfare. It is you forcefully taking back the keys to your own joy and refusing to let your abuser control your emotional state for one more second. You must intentionally, purposely release the heavy, dark bitterness that has deeply poisoned your inner well. When you harbor cold unforgiveness, it completely taints every single interaction in your current life. It makes you deeply cynical, overly guarded, and emotionally cold. I want to forcefully flush that toxic sludge out of your system right now. Speak their names out loud to me. Tell me exactly how much it hurt, and then physically release them into my hands. Let me deal with their strict consequences. I am a perfectly just, unyielding God. I will handle them completely. Your only job is to let go and walk away. Feel the heavy, crushing weight of that old trauma lifting off your chest right now. Breathe in a clean, fresh air of total emotional freedom. When you finally release the tight grip on your past pain, I can perform my greatest, most beautiful miracle. I will literally create breathtaking beauty from the ugly, charred ashes of your old life. I will take the very trauma that the enemy meant to completely destroy you, and I will use it to give you profound empathy, undeniable strength, and a highly powerful voice. I command you to firmly, permanently close the heavy iron doors on your yesterday. Stop reopening the old, painful chapters. Stop reading the tragic paragraphs. You cannot walk into the bright, brilliant tomorrow I have designed for you if you keep constantly looking over your shoulder. Step into my healing room today. Let my grace aggressively wash out the deep infection. Let my perfect love bind up your broken heart. You are absolutely not defined by what happened to you. You are forever defined by my complete and total restoration. Look at your hands right now. Look at how tired they are from trying to hold your entire world together. You constantly look in the mirror and heavily criticize yourself for not being strong enough. You deeply hate your own weaknesses. You despise the moments when your anxiety gets the best of you, when your patience completely snaps with your children, or when you fail to meet your own impossibly high standards. You have convinced yourself that I can only use you when you are perfectly put together, highly successful, and completely emotionally stable. You think you need to offer me a flawless resume before I will step into your situation. I need to shatter that lie completely right now. I do not need your human strength. Your so-called strength actually gets in my way. I do my absolute best, most earth-shaking work when you are completely at the end of your rope. I purposefully choose the weak, broken, and overlooked things of this world to completely shame the so-called wise and powerful. When you finally admit that you have absolutely no idea what you are doing, you are exactly where I need you to be. I command you to stop hiding your deep inadequacies from me. Stop pretending that you are a superhero. Drop the heavy, exhausting facade today. When you finally stop trying to perform for me, my perfect grace forcefully rushes in to completely fill the massive gaps in your ability. My grace is not just a polite religious concept. It is raw, undeniable power that activates the moment you say, I cannot do this anymore. The shift from frantic self-reliance to total, desperate God-dependence is the exact moment your real victory begins. You get incredibly frustrated when you kneel down to pray and absolutely no words come out of your mouth. You just sit there and cry out in pure exhaustion. Listen to me very closely. Those silent, desperate tears are the most powerful, highly effective prayers you could ever pray. When you have absolutely no vocabulary left to explain your deep pain, my Holy Spirit violently intercedes on your behalf. I hear the loud, clear cry of your broken heart, and it moves my hand faster than 1,000 perfectly pronounced religious words. I invite you to find explosive power in your total surrender. Stop fighting your human limitations. I want you to boldly start boasting about your weaknesses. Yes, you heard me correctly. Instead of hiding the fact that you struggle with fear, that you failed at a business, or that you are deeply tired, I want you to completely own it. When you openly admit your utter weakness, my massive power heavily rests upon you. The entire world tells you to hide your flaws and project total perfection. I am telling you to bring your ugly, broken pieces directly to the cross. The cross itself was a brutal symbol of ultimate human weakness and total defeat. But I miraculously turned it into the greatest victory in the history of the universe. I will do the exact same thing with your broken life. Surrender your desperate need to be strong today. Let me be your unshakable muscle. Let me be your solid rock. Rest in your weakness, and watch my undeniable power completely take over your reality. Open your eyes and look closely at the heavily burdened people walking right past you every single day. Look at the coworker who constantly snaps at you in meetings because their home life is a complete disaster. Look at the exhausted cashier at the grocery store who looks like they are barely surviving their shift. Look at your own family members who are quietly drowning in deep depression and silent addiction. You see them simply as annoying obstacles or passing strangers. I see them as eternal, desperate souls who are violently tumbling into deep darkness. I deliberately placed you in your specific job, in your specific neighborhood, and in your exact family for a highly urgent reason. You are absolutely not there just to pay your bills and quietly survive until retirement. I placed you there to be a massive, blinding light in a world that is rapidly growing darker by the second. I command you to immediately stop hiding your faith inside the safe, comfortable walls of your church building on Sunday mornings. My kingdom does not operate in a clean, quiet vacuum. I need you on the messy front lines on Monday morning. I am calling you to physically be my hands and my feet in the dirty, complicated reality of everyday life. You constantly make pathetic excuses, telling me that you do not know the Bible well enough, or that you are too shy to speak up. I violently reject those cheap excuses today. You do not need a theology degree to simply tell someone how I rescued you from your darkest depression. You do not need perfect eloquence to look a broken person in the eye and tell them they are deeply loved. I promise to give you supernatural, undeniable boldness the exact second you open your mouth to speak my name. You not worry about planning out the perfect words. When you step up to help someone, my spirit will literally fill your mouth with exactly what they desperately need to hear. Your simple, ordinary life is meant to be a loud, living, breathing testimony of my overwhelming goodness. When you choose to show radical forgiveness to someone who viciously wronged you, you are preaching a sermon louder than any pastor ever could. When you physically help a neighbor in a deep financial crisis, you are giving them a tangible piece of heaven. I want you to realize the massive, eternal significance of every single act of kindness you perform in my name. The stakes are incredibly high. People are dying without any hope, and you are holding the exact cure they need in your hands. Do not keep it to yourself. I command you to forcefully push past your social awkwardness and your fear of rejection. If someone thinks you are crazy for talking about me, let them think you are crazy. Their temporary, fleeting opinion of you means absolutely nothing compared to the eternal destination of their soul. I am deploying you right now into the dark, hurting world. Step out with absolute authority. Speak life into dead situations. Rescue the people I have placed right in front of you. Time is incredibly short, and I am sending you now. Pay very close attention to exactly what is happening inside your head right now. Your mind is an active, brutal war zone. You lay your tired head on your pillow at night, and almost instantly, a loud, terrifying army of what-ifs starts violently screaming at you. What if the medical test results are completely devastating? What if I suddenly lose my job and lose my house? What if my children completely abandon their faith and ruin their lives? You are physically sweating, your heart is pounding, and you are completely paralyzed by fake scenarios that have not even happened. I am stepping in right now to tell you that you are badly losing the battle for your mind, and it is because you are leaving the front door of your brain wide open to the enemy. I command you to aggressively guard the gates of your eyes and your ears. You cannot spend 4 solid hours mindlessly scrolling through toxic, fear-mongering news, comparing your real life to fake internet profiles, and listening to mindless garbage, and then expect to have a peaceful, holy mind. You are actively feeding your anxiety a massive buffet every single day, and then you angrily ask me why you are so deeply afraid. Stop consuming the poison. I strongly invite you to completely cut off the steady flow of worldly noise that is constantly making you sick. You must become completely ruthless about what you allow into your head. If a conversation, a television show, or an internet site makes you feel panicked, angry, or deeply inadequate, you must shut it off immediately. You must violently take every single thought captive to my eternal truth. Do not let toxic thoughts freely wander around your mind, setting fires. When a loud, terrifying thought tells you that you are a complete failure, you must literally stop in your tracks and interrogate that thought. Hit it aggressively with a heavy hammer of my word. Replace the vicious lies of the accuser with the concrete, unshakable promises of my scripture. If the enemy whispers, "You are going to completely fall apart," you must physically open your mouth and declare out loud, "I am firmly held together by the Creator of the universe." You must forcefully talk back to your own fear. I promise you a mental peace that completely baffles human logic, but you must fight for it. You strengthen your tired spirit through the aggressive, daily renewal of your mind. You cannot live off a quick 5-minute prayer you prayed 3 weeks ago. You need a daily, fresh encounter with my truth to wash the heavy dirt of the world out of your brain. The massive war in the heavenly realms over your life is actually fought and won right between your ears. I command you to take back your territory today. Evict the heavy depression. Kick out the chronic anxiety. Fill your mind with things that are true, noble, pure, and praiseworthy. Dwell entirely on things above. Win the war in your thoughts today, and your entire reality will instantly begin to change. Look closely at your current religious routine. You have slowly allowed your relationship with me to turn into a dry, boring, repetitive checklist. You drag yourself to church, you mumble the words to a few familiar songs, you drop a little money in the plate, and you firmly check the good Christian box for the week. You are just going through the dry motions, and frankly, I absolutely hate that religion. I do not want your polite, sleepy traditions. I want your raw, burning, passionate heart. I am deeply craving a completely intimate, violently real relationship with you. I want you to step entirely past the empty rituals and completely crash into my holy presence. I am inviting you into a level of deep worship that will completely rock your everyday reality. I want you to understand that true worship completely shifts the actual atmosphere of your home. When you are standing in your kitchen, completely overwhelmed by unpaid bills and screaming children, and you suddenly choose to lift your hands and forcefully declare my goodness, you are literally dragging the physical atmosphere of heaven straight down into your messy house. Worship is not just a polite song. It is a brutal, heavy weapon. It is a massive sword that severely confuses and destroys the plans of the enemy. The enemy fully expects you to complain, whine, and completely give up when life gets impossibly hard. When you violently choose to praise me right in the middle of your deepest, darkest crisis, it absolutely terrifies the forces of hell. I invite you to meet me right now in the quiet silence of your secret closet. Stop performing for other people. Stop trying to look super spiritual in front of your friends. I want you behind closed doors, where it is just you and me. I want you to shut out the loud, demanding world and simply sit at my feet. You are constantly running around like Martha, completely stressed out, trying to frantically serve me by fixing everything. I am asking you to be like Mary. Just sit down. Take a deep, heavy breath. Let the frantic spinning of your mind completely stop. Find the heavy, steady beat of my heart and simply rest your tired head against my chest. Discover today that your entire life was originally created to be a massive, living song of praise. Everything you do, the way you type an email at work, the way you speak to your difficult spouse, the way you handle a financial crisis, can be an act of intense worship if you do it completely surrendered to me. I command you to forcefully turn your heavy complaints into loud praise today. Stop talking about how big your terrifying mountain is, and start loudly telling that mountain exactly how big your God is. Open your mouth and let the praise violently break the heavy chains off your life. I am waiting for you in the secret place. Come into my presence right now and let me absolutely overwhelm you with my glory. Do not let the enemy violently snatch your attention away from me right now. I see the heavy distraction pulling at your tired mind. It brings profound, aching sorrow to my spirit when you disconnect from my presence just as I am preparing to completely unlock the massive vaults of heaven for you. I am standing right here with the exact provision you have been crying over in the dark. Honor my voice. Do not leave this holy conversation. Lean in closer. Look at the harsh, terrifying numbers in your bank account right now. You are staring at a massive stack of unpaid bills on your kitchen counter, and you feel a thick, heavy knot of pure panic tightening in your throat. The human math absolutely does not add up. You are deeply terrified about how you are going to put groceries on the table, how you are going to cover the rising rent, and how you will ever survive this brutal inflation. You are constantly grinding, working exhausting overtime, and losing precious sleep trying to forcefully fix your financial deficit on your own. I need you to stop right now. Stop completely staring at your human math. Your limited math has absolutely no jurisdiction in my unlimited kingdom. I am Jehovah Jireh. I am the God who aggressively and miraculously provides for my children. I possess the undeniable, absolute ability to make a wide open way completely through a solid brick wall. When you see a terrifying dead end, I clearly see a brand new door. But I need to correct your vision today. You must clearly understand the massive difference between your endless, greedy wants and your absolute, required needs. I have firmly promised to supply every single one of your real needs according to my glorious riches, not according to the fragile, unstable economy of your country. I will never let you starve. I will never let you be permanently forsaken. But I will not always fund your selfish desire to endlessly accumulate useless, comfortable junk that distracts you from my true purpose. I am building your deep faith, not just padding your temporary comfort. I command you to forcefully trust me with your money right now. You are holding on to your last few dollars with a tight, terrified white-knuckle grip. I am urgently asking you to open your tight fist. I clearly tell you to bring your tithes and your generous offerings into my house so I can forcefully blow open the heavy windows of heaven over your life. But you negotiate with me. You tell me you will finally be generous when you get a better job or a bigger raise. That is completely backward. You activate my massive, supernatural provision exactly when you faithfully give from your deep poverty. I command you to step out in radical, terrifying financial faith today. Rest in the absolute, concrete fact that I personally own the cattle on 1,000 hills. All the wealth of the entire universe belongs directly to me, and you are my beloved, chosen heir. Stop acting like a desperate spiritual orphan digging through the trash. If you will bring me your tiny, pathetic offering, your small 5 loaves and 2 fish, and place it entirely in my hands without holding anything back, I will violently multiply it right before your eyes. I will stretch your paycheck further than logically possible. I will provide unexpected checks in the mail. I will completely protect your physical belongings from breaking down. Surrender your deep financial panic to me right this second. Put my kingdom first above your bills, and watch me aggressively take over your daily provision. I am your provider, and I will absolutely not fail you today. Look at your calendar, and look at the heavy, stressful deadlines you have forcefully placed on your own life. You are constantly looking at your watch, feeling a deep, quiet panic that you are falling terribly behind. You look at your friends and see them getting married, buying houses, getting major promotions, and stepping into their dreams. You sit in your room and angrily cry out to me, asking why you are completely stuck in the waiting room. You feel forgotten. You think my loud wait or my firm no is a complete rejection of your deepest desires. I need you to completely change how you view my clock right now. My no is almost always a powerful, protective yes to something incredibly better that you cannot even see yet. I command you to absolutely stop trying to force heavy doors open that I have intentionally locked shut. Running ahead of my timing is incredibly dangerous. When you forcefully take matters into your own hands because you are tired of waiting on me, you create a massive mess that brings deep sorrow into your life. You marry the completely wrong person just because you are terrified of being alone. You take the highly toxic job just because it offers more money right now. I am desperately trying to save you from years of brutal heartbreak, but you must be willing to trust my slow, steady pace. I am never, ever late. I am rarely early according to your rushed, panicked human clock, but my timing is completely, flawlessly perfect. I want you to find deep peace in the slow, quiet process of your current season. I am actively developing a deep, mature patience inside your character that you will desperately need to sustain the massive blessing I am preparing for you. If I handed you the massive weight of your dream right now, your weak character would instantly crumble right under the pressure. I am using this frustrating delay to build thick, strong pillars inside your soul. You are not falling behind. You are being carefully and meticulously prepared. Surrender your tight grip on your life's timeline today. Look at the natural world I created. The deep, cold winter is absolutely necessary for the ground to rest before the massive, colorful explosion of spring. You are simply in a quiet winter season right now. Stop demanding spring flowers in the middle of January. I command you to rest entirely in the cold, quiet waiting. Stop frantically striving. Stop aggressively comparing your specific chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Give me your calendar, give me your deadlines, and give me your deep fear of missing out. Trust that the creator of time itself holds your specific future safely in his powerful hands. Feel the heavy, icy grip of fear that is trying to tightly choke your throat right now. You are constantly consumed by a dark, heavy dread about what is going to happen next. You read the terrible news. You look at the broken economy. You watch the sickness spreading, and your heart physically pounds inside your chest. You are deeply terrified for your children's future. You are terrified of failing. You are paralyzed by the thought of losing everything you have worked so hard to build. I am speaking directly to that specific, heavy terror right now. I did absolutely not give you that dark spirit of fear. That heavy panic does not come from my throne. It comes directly from the pit of hell to completely paralyze your divine destiny. I command you to forcefully evict the spirit of fear from your house today. You are entertaining a demonic guest in your mind, pulling out a chair for it, and letting it completely dictate your daily choices. I have given you a powerful spirit of total power, deep love, and a highly sound, disciplined mind. You must understand that my perfect, overwhelming love physically forcefully casts out all anxiety and dread. When you truly, deeply understand how fiercely I love you and how completely I protect you, the dark fear literally has no room left to exist inside your heart. Light and darkness cannot peacefully occupy the exact same space. You must stop playing the toxic, exhausting what-if game immediately. The enemy constantly whispers, "What if the worst possible scenario happens?" I command you to aggressively answer that lie with my eternal I am. Even if the terrible storm hits your house, I am right there in the heavy rain with you. Even if the money completely runs out, I am your ultimate provider. You are firmly standing on the unshakable, solid rock of my promises, not on the fragile, shifting sand of worldly security. When the entire world around you trembles and falls apart, you will absolutely remain standing. I am calling you to step forward with massive, undeniable courage today. Courage is not the complete absence of feeling scared. Courage is feeling the heavy terror and choosing to violently walk forward anyway because you know exactly who is walking right beside you. Refuse to let the dark shadow of tomorrow steal the bright, peaceful joy of your today. I have already visited your tomorrow. I have already secured your complete victory. Lift your head up high. Square your tired shoulders. Walk boldly and confidently into the exact future I have completely guaranteed for you. Now that you have forcefully evicted the dark spirit of fear from your own mind, I am urgently calling you to help rescue others who are still suffocating in total panic. I did not give you a spirit of fear, but of absolute power, and I am asking you to boldly weaponize that power by funding this massive divine rescue mission. Every time you generously support the spread of this shocking message, you are literally shattering the heavy iron chains of anxiety off another human soul. Your giving is the flowing river of life that forcefully carries my loud, active voice to the desperate and the dying. As you fiercely release your tight grip on your finances to build my kingdom, I will personally rebuke the devourer and place a thick, impenetrable wall of divine protection around your family's provision. The extreme urgency of this hour demands bold, fearless action before the darkness claims another victim. Defeat your fear completely today by clicking the super thanks, joining as a member, or giving through the PayPal link in the description. Be incredibly brave. Release your powerful offering into my hands right now, and let us violently conquer the darkness together. We are nearing the climax of this sacred encounter, but do not dare tune me out. It deeply breaks my heart when you stand on the very edge of your promised land and abruptly choose to walk back into the barren wilderness. The massive, final pieces of your divine puzzle are about to be revealed to you. I command you to stay. Silence your phone, quiet your anxious soul, and let me finish the miraculous, earth-shaking work I am doing inside you right now. Look closely at exactly how you are spending the precious, highly limited hours of your daily life. I have freely loaned you a very specific amount of time, a unique set of talents, and a measure of financial treasure. You are not the permanent owner of these things. You are simply the temporary manager. One day, you will stand completely bare before me, and I will ask you exactly what you did with the life I gave you. Are you completely wasting your most energetic hours mindlessly scrolling through a glowing screen, chasing hollow entertainment, and building a temporary kingdom of comfort that will eventually burn to ash? You are deeply trading your eternal, Massive inheritance for a cheap, temporary bowl of worldly soup. I command you to completely shift your investment strategy right now. Stop pouring all your best energy into things that will absolutely not matter in 100 years. Your fancy car will eventually end up in a junkyard. Your impressive job title will be completely forgotten by your company the moment you leave. The only things that carry eternal, massive value are the human souls you touch and the specific kingdom work you accomplish in my name. I am watching exactly how you manage the very small, seemingly boring things in your daily life. I watch how you quietly treat the tired waiter at the restaurant. I watch how you handle the small amount of money in your checking account. If you prove to be completely faithful and trustworthy with the small, quiet things, I will joyfully make you the powerful ruler over massive, world-changing things. But you cannot desperately demand massive influence from me when you are too lazy to simply manage your own morning routine. I want you to start living every single day with the absolute end clearly in mind. Wake up every morning and ask yourself how your daily choices will echo into the deep fabric of eternity. You are actively writing your own legacy with every conversation you have and every dollar you spend. I want to look you directly in the eyes at the end of your long race and declare, "Well done, my good and completely faithful servant." There is absolutely no greater reward in the entire universe than a life poured out completely empty for the sake of the gospel. I command you to stop coasting through your weeks on autopilot. Take strict, intentional ownership of your calendar, your money, and your unique gifts. Deploy them aggressively into the dark world to rescue the broken people I love. Be a wise, bold, and incredibly generous steward of the breathtaking life I have handed you today. Look honestly at your repeated, exhausting failures. You have tried so incredibly hard to be a good, moral person. You make firm, heavy promises to yourself every single new year that you will finally stop yelling at your kids, you will finally quit that destructive hidden habit, and you will finally start reading your Bible every day. But by the second week of February, you completely fall back into your old, toxic patterns. You feel a massive, crushing weight of guilt because your human willpower keeps brutally failing you. I need you to completely understand why you keep failing. You are desperately trying to force a dead, dry tree to violently produce fresh, sweet fruit. You do not need a better religious checklist. You do not need more strict discipline. You desperately need a massive, supernatural heart transplant. I command you to stop striving in your own pathetic human strength today. I am offering you the most radical, violent medical procedure in the spiritual realm. I want to completely swap your heavy, cold heart of stone for a soft, beating, responsive heart of flesh. You absolutely cannot forcefully grow the beautiful fruit of patience, kindness, and self-control on your own. When you fully surrender your broken life to me, my Holy Spirit violently moves inside your chest. He takes up permanent residence and begins to miraculously produce a rich, beautiful harvest that completely defies your natural personality. I will take your quick, explosive temper and miraculously replace it with a deep, unshakable calm. I will take your selfish greed and completely replace it with a radical, breathtaking generosity. You will experience a massive, internal shift from having to serve me to desperately wanting to serve me. Right now, you often read my word out of a heavy, boring sense of religious obligation. You drag yourself to prayer like a tired employee dreading a meeting with a demanding boss. I command you to let me completely change your deepest desires. When I aggressively renew your heart, you will experience a desperate, physical hunger for my presence. You will crave the quiet moments with me more than you crave your morning coffee or your evening entertainment. This is the undeniable, explosive miracle of a life truly born again. I invite you to completely stop managing your sin and let me totally eradicate it. Stop violently fighting the ugly symptoms and let me completely cure the deadly disease inside your soul. Bring your stubborn, hard heart directly to my operating table right now. Give me absolute, unrestricted permission to aggressively cut away the deep pride, the stubborn selfishness, and the heavy bitterness that is choking your spiritual arteries. When you truly abide in my vine, you will organically, naturally produce breathtaking life. Surrender your tired, failed willpower to me right this second. Watch the absolute miracle of massive transformation unfold in your daily reality. Look directly into my eyes right now as we close this deep, holy conversation. I have spoken forcefully and intimately to your heart today because I desperately want you to experience my absolute best for your life. I have violently torn away the comfortable lies you were believing, and I have firmly handed you the heavy, solid truth of your divine identity. I want my intense, fiery love for you to be the permanent, unshakable foundation of your entire reality. You came into this specific moment feeling completely broken, deeply tired, and fiercely anxious about your chaotic future. I command you to leave every single one of those heavy, toxic feelings entirely right here at my feet. You are absolutely not permitted to pick them back up when you walk out of this room. I am issuing a final, urgent call for you to completely leave behind the specific things that are heavily hindering your daily walk. You know exactly what they are. The toxic friendship, the secret addiction, the heavy, paralyzing fear of failure, the bitter unforgiveness you hold against that family member. I command you to aggressively cut the thick ropes that are tying you to your dead past. Step entirely into the bright, brilliant freedom I have just handed you. My love for you is eternally unchanging. It does absolutely not fluctuate based on your daily performance. Even if you stumble tomorrow, my massive hand will instantly reach down to violently pull you right back up on your feet. You must actively carry this powerful, life-altering message into your dirty, messy daily reality starting this exact day. When your difficult boss violently yells at you tomorrow morning, I want you to remember your royal, unshakable identity. When the sudden, terrifying medical bill arrives in your mailbox next week, I want you to instantly remember that I am Jehovah Jireh, your absolute provider. Do not just let these words be a temporary, emotional goosebump. Let them become the heavy steel armor that completely protects your mind every single day. I am firmly placing my massive blessing directly upon your head right now. I bless your fragile mind with deep, impenetrable peace. I bless your tired hands to violently prosper in everything they touch. I strictly command the dark forces of hell to completely back away from your family, your finances, and your exact future. I am leaving you with a permanent, wide-open invitation to remain in constant, intimate conversation with me. Do not wait until your life is completely falling apart to finally talk to me again. Talk to me in your car. Talk to me while you are washing the dishes. Talk to me when you are laughing with your children. I want to be deeply involved in every single tiny detail of your beautiful life. You are my fiercely protected, wildly cherished, heavily anointed child. Now, stand up tall. Square your shoulders. Take a massive, deep breath of my Holy Spirit. Go out into the dark world and shine with my blinding, unstoppable light. I am with you always. As I deliver these final, urgent instructions to your heart, I am calling you to become a bold, active steward of the shocking truth you have just received. I cannot stay silent while this world violently perishes, and I desperately need your physical partnership to aggressively broadcast my voice to the absolute ends of the earth. I command you to stop building temporary earthly empires and start aggressively laying up massive, indestructible treasures in my heavenly storehouses, where no thief can ever touch them. Your generous giving is the heavy, golden grain that feeds starving, desperate spirits with the fresh, life-saving manna of my word. When you physically invest your worldly wealth into the eternal souls of others, I will forcefully unlock my unlimited provision over your life, pouring out a financial favor that completely defies human logic. The time to act is incredibly short, and millions are still agonizingly waiting for this exact breakthrough. Honor this divine appointment today by supporting this channel through a super thanks, a membership, or the PayPal link in the description. Sow your ultimate seed right now, and confidently step into the spectacular overflow I have permanently secured for you.